said you were gonna teach me about becoming a man, but that ain't the goddamn truth. Cause I could learn more about being a man from your bitch who pulled a Glock on you. This your first trip to the bunker, and it's fight night. Let me set the stage then. I could have dropped a QP without getting weighed in. MMA. This a rampage Quentin can't win. 2 different pedigrees. Tag Triple H in. See, the thing about the school of fish who imitate him, once they in the deep end, more sink than they swim. You like his writing? Watch Prison Break then. Cause ain't a real sentence in that fake pen like 60 days in. You ain't been the same since innuendo caved in. All your bridges stay burnt cause all you did was blame them. Bonnie Bourne and Remy hate him. So if you such a great friend, why did bullets bounce on you like a ricochet then? Just in case y'all missed the memo, innuendo's disassembled. All his homies in it left, so now it's only him and Fresco. I don't care if Quentin said so, he's never been the quintessential. He'll get lit up when I rock him, I'm a legend that'll hit his temple. Disrespectful, I push it too hard. Bulletproof bars, it's sad, cause as good as you are, you let your habits get the best of you. You took it too far. Always looking for his next line, I'm pulling Q card.
That was fire.
Watch every branch of the fam of QP get clipped. Even his grams in a bag since the mood seems fit. So how much weight do you think that QP flips? Barely an ounce of pride left after we lose 3 zip. Time.
Yeah. I want to do it a little differently this time. Beat by Chase Moore, look. Feel like I just need a space to vent. Feel like I could be another name that came and went. Feel like I played a bench. Feel like I should be more grateful. I got food on my plate, a roof to lay under, and enough coming to pay the rent. Don't leave me hanging cause I hate suspense, or put me on a pedestal without a safety net. If I ain't make a good impression, let me make amends. You wanna destroy your enemies and make them friends. I just booked another match, elevate the pen that came to witness my internal battle, that's the main event. Learning that line in between love and hate is thin, but I'm not trying to be your anchor when it's sink or swim. Drama with the coat, feel like I'm living on an island, so I'm feeling hollow when my actions say I'm solid. I ever had a problem, then I handle it in private. I lost it, then forgot what I'm looking for, trying to find it. My love's deep, runs deeper than subtweets, but I'm off that. Let me calm that. We got enough good in our past, it ain't all bad. Before we too far gone, let me fall back. What to do when you see the pain in someone's eyes, when they talking to you, when you try to be there, when it's toxic to you, when they feel like everybody leave them and they so alone, then they push you away so they can say I told you so. You become the target of someone's unhappiness. It happens on accident, it's collateral damages and not a love for them. You accept them and adapt to it, but at a certain point you're just enabling, you're trapped in it. I ain't perfect, I'm a mess, it's true, but I own my shit, and there's certain shit that I never do. Broken mirrors I've been reflecting too, when there's nothing left to choose. Question, is your loyalty to them or you? But maybe we're too stubborn to coexist. That's why I be over shit. The world don't give a fuck about your loneliness. Bumping Mac, rolling through my city on my solo shit. Shed some tears and wrote this shit, trying to cope with it, fuck it, I'm going Hulk again, flexing until my clothes are ripped. Spit that old since twins dope, up the dosages. Uh-oh, the chauvinist, Captain Roast, the bitch posted with ghosts in my past. Look over my shoulder when I hold a pen, key to the city, heart of the game. I'm the pulse of it, I'm emotionless, neck with bolts in it. Comfortable in my skin now that it's broken in. Mac Miller, young as shit, said he ain't wanna join the 27 club and died at 26. That ain't what he meant. Hit him the night before saying track one's my shit. Now I wish he could come back to earth. What a trip, that's a warning. Pops had a stroke, I drove from LA to Portland. I was there the next morning, thank God he recovered. Grandma LaDonna said the doctor discovered stage 4. Pray for her, all we got is each other. Gave me my first rap tape and I love her for it. Probably wouldn't be here if it wasn't for her. That's too real. Hold up. Yeah, they just want gossip, controversy over beats. Don't even want diss tracks, they want personal receipts on what you get. Take a thinker and you merge it with a beast. Life's a terminal disease, dreams get murdered in my sleep. Watch the company you keep, what you worship, what you eat. That's what you saying, what you think, serve the purpose that you seek. Swerving in the street, flourish from the dirt. Worms and serpents seeking permanent relief. What you see on the surface isn't deep. Bravery isn't lack of fear in terms of what you think. What takes more strength is having courage when you're weak. Bravery isn't lack of fear in terms of what you think. What takes more strength? Look, sometimes I'm with them and I pretend that I'm alone. Sometimes seeing others' flaws help me recognize my own. Like how I put a wall up that separates me from them. And with the press of a button, I could feel nothing is numbing. So much more than words we can say in a discussion. Speak with action, learn from your mistakes so you become them. But I know we working, and I'm conscious of the growth. So when I say you, I mean me. I'm talking to us both. Yeah, I know we working, and I'm conscious of the growth. So when I say you, I mean me. I'm talking to us both. They'll matter.
Hey, what's up, riders, 667ers, degenerates and generals?
True.
Another episode, Meanwhile on Earth. We're at number 5, which is actually my favorite number.
Congratulations.
Yeah,
Wow, that's
here
awesome.
With so it's appropriate.
Yeah,
Here with the
it is.
GOAT himself.
Your least favorite person to represent your favorite number. Let's go.
I'm all about duality. You know, you know what I mean.
Yo, what's good, everybody? How's
What
it going,
up, man?
What's cracking? You know.
Shit.
Yeah, I've been feeling the podcast so far.
Hell yeah, man. Thanks.
Enjoying it.
How
Sat's
long-
episode was super entertaining.
Hilarious,
He is
right?
so incredible, bro. Oh, I
Yeah.
love it. What's feel?
Yeah, what is?
I'm about to smoke this and put it in my lungs.
He's
I'm
on
about
it.
to light this on fire and then breathe it in.
So I'm gonna get high and get high. What?
Oh, it was killing me,
What's
bro.
a podcast?
I love it. It was so good.
So yeah, how long has it been now? It's been about like it's only the second week, right?
Yeah, 2 weeks.
Second week, 5 in.
You've been
Let's
just
go.
popping them out, bro.
Yeah, man.
That's the way to do it.
Yeah, I'm hyped to have you on. You're
sure.
in town for
The Bodied premiere, red carpet premiere is tonight.
yeah.
And
So what's your feeling on Suits?
I didn't even know that we were.
You're not supposed to.
yeah.
Joseph Kahn, you know.
It crossed my mind
pitbull
today.
hating fucking
Honestly,
bastard.
it crossed my mind today. I was like, damn, do I overdress for this thing and get all suited up, and then I'll be suited up on the podcast as well? You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? And this isn't like what I'm wearing to the premiere.
That's
Or
what I would
whatever.
have preferred, but yeah.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? I ignored the podcast dress code as well. And
Have you not seen these things?
And
or
then
what?
Lush told me that he was saying something about wearing a suit, and I was like,
So
"What?"
you wearing the shirt?
But then
So you wearing the shirt, blood?
But then I was like, well, maybe they just like don't want Lush to wear like 4 do-rags and an open
He's
tee.
like, I'm
you
just
know what
wearing a
saying?
Givenchy sash.
Oh, you got a top?
I'm just wearing my designer tats, blood. Yeah, I decided I wasn't going after I seen Diz talking about how he's gonna dress better than everyone.
Oh, word.
Yeah.
See,
and
that
shit
to
on
me-
everyone again.
See, to
And I
me
was like,
that
I'm
makes
out.
sense. Yeah,
I'm out.
to me that makes sense, and that's why I'm gonna just like casually underdress and still, it's still it's casual, formal, but whatever.
You don't want to compete with the suit version of the patent leather dollar shirt. He's the regenerating
You mean the patent leather dollar
shirt.
turtleneck with short sleeves?
Yeah, half turtleneck.
Yeah, with short sleeves.
The baby turtleneck.
Damn, that was a game changer.
Yeah, I was like, no, I won't be outdone. I'm not. I'm
Oh,
gonna
is
wait.
that
I'm gonna wait.
that's why you did it?
As soon as
Word.
I seen it, yeah, I responded. I'm not going now, and
Because
I'm
of
not.
that?
Yeah, and I'm not.
Y'all are
So,
going on Sunday, right?
Yeah,
that's
going
gonna be fire.
Sunday with the Ruin Your Day squad. So there's hella tickets left, but there's like 40 that are pre-sold, and I can almost guarantee those are all fucking ride or die squad and fam.
That's lit.
fans and shit. Yeah,
I seen
so it'll
that
be a good
Eminem
little
bought
event.
out 2 theaters in Detroit to go see it tomorrow night for the opening.
Sick.
Yeah.
Just like 50,
All
50
day, like
did
50
Ja
did
Rule.
Ja.
He's just like, I bought all the tickets. No one's gonna see this thing. First 4 rows empty.
No, he was like, "This is on me." Basically, he was like, "If you're in Detroit,
sick.
go
First
see it
come,
on me."
first
Yeah,
serve.
exactly.
That's tight.
Yeah, super dope.
That's hella tight.
Yeah. So kind of the opposite of what 50 did.
Right? Yeah.
Which
You
is
see the memes and it's like him in the front.
It's
like
the greatest. That is the greatest, like, petty troll of.
How old is 50 now? He's like
50. How old
can't be
is
too
50?
old.
No,
50.
he's in. I mean, he's got to be in his 40s, right?
Yeah.
probably-
43.
Damn.
I vote.
Fair enough.
Yeah, 43 and trolling the
crushing.
shit. How old
Crushing
is
it.
that beef? It's
Wow,
like
2 decades at least now, right? It's got to be.
and it's like a Diz still trolling Jonai. It's like, yo,
It's the mainstream version.
He's gone.
Of that. Yeah,
He's dead.
yeah, he's gone,
Why?
bro.
Yeah, why?
And still, every now and then, the garbage video pops up with Diz in a dumpster. Where he's impersonating Jonah. Oh, bro.
So good.
At like once every 6 weeks.
Garbage.
That thing pops up. I love it. I
Yeah.
love it.
No, that so you haven't seen it yet, right?
No,
So
I haven't seen the
about it?
movie yet. I'm really excited for that aspect alone. It should
Tonight?
be dope. Yeah, it should be tight.
That's fire. There's been you said you were mentioning there's good reviews and shit. New
Yeah,
York Times
it
and-
seems like it's been really well received. So that's, I mean, it makes me look forward to it even more. Obviously, like even having a small part in it makes it even cooler, of
Yeah.
course. And then seeing like all of our friends to begin with is fire.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to just see how it all falls out. Because I read the script, of course, just like being a part of it. But
I did.
I want to. Oh, damn. That's.
I had Chase speed read it. I'm like, should I do it? Should I take this part? And he's like, yeah, I guess. I'm like, all right.
Oh, nice. That's gracious of you.
Yeah, should I bless this
That's
film
chill that
with
your
my-
agent gave you the pass, though. Otherwise, damn. Otherwise, I don't know who I would have been on screen with.
I don't even.
I would have
I'm
had
like,
to
I
take the Billy Pistols role, probably. Well, I got offered the Billy Pistols role.
Really?
Yeah, Joseph hit me up and said, he was like, look, like, we want you guys
Sharon
to
is perfect.
he
for
said
that.
that's what I've heard too, and that's awesome. Like, good for him. But Joseph hit me up, and he basically like was like, "Look, we want to have." He said, "I want to have you and Il as a part of the movie in any capacity that we can." He's like, "These are basically the options. If you want to audition for a bigger role, you can audition for the role of Billy Pistols." And he basically like explained it as like the Billy Boondocks character. You know what I'm saying? And then he said, "Or we have like a scene that's basically like written for you and Il." Where you guys are going to be watching a battle, but sort of providing commentary on it, almost on some like old guys in the balcony at the Muppets type of thing. And I was like, all right, word. And my response was essentially, I'd rather play myself than play myself. And
That's great.
yeah. And Joseph was like, awesome, man. See you, you know?
Yeah.
They shot me all the info. It was hella fun, just like being on set, too. That shit was tight.
Yeah, man.
I'm really looking forward to seeing how everything looks on screen as well, because I remember like in the warehouse that we were in for that scene, the way the battle stuff was set up and shot, I was so curious how it was going to actually look on camera.
Yeah.
Because I know he was very big on that. He was like, I want it to still like look authentic, but obviously I have to film it like as a movie director.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
It's super dynamic for sure. I can't wait to see it again.
Fire.
I peeped it at one of the festivals,
Like one of the
out
LA
here in
premieres?
LA.
Yeah, that's tight.
And it's I think it's super visually stimulating too. And the funny thing about it is, you'll see, I don't want to get too into. I think it's like with the times, as far as like what's going on in the social spectrum, I think it's aged well.
Yeah.
I think it's gonna
It
it's
aged
gonna
in the right
help
direction.
its reception.
It aged in the right
because
direction.
of the conversation and dialogue that happens within it. I think is even more
Dope.
pertinent than
it was when we
yeah,
filmed
2
it.
years. Yeah, exactly. 2 3
That's
years
dope.
ago, or whatever.
That's
yeah.
really dope.
Yeah, shit's tight.
Good. I hope it continues to be as well received as it has been so far, because it's insane. The reviews for it so far have been crazy. Like, it's crushing every festival it's done. It's crushed and won some type of fan favorite award or something like to that equivalent, which is impressive enough. The Rotten Tomato score is crazy too, which I don't always I'm not like banking on that. When I see that a movie is rated in the 90s on Rotten Tomatoes, that's not going to make me be like, well, it's got to be good.
All right. Could be the government or something. How do you remember how it did it get the fan favorite at the One Dimensional Gunline Punchline Festival?
Where was that?
Premiere?
Where was that in Stockton?
yeah. It was at the Oakland Metro. I think
Dope,
it was
dope. Yeah. Yeah, I'm pretty sure, I think Fox gave him the award, if I'm not mistaken.
not the network, just the clothing brand.
No, the human. The clothing brand.
Same thing.
Yo, did you know he's currently, or there? I don't know if it's right now today, but within the last 3 weeks or so, he was the #1 ranked NBA 2K player in the world. Within the last 30 days, that was a thing.
Who?
Fox.
Fox?
Yeah. Jay Fox. SONS, which is who I was referring to.
Yeah, I thought you meant. I was like, is this a Kobe Bryant joke?
No. He's like, in NBA 2K, the game. He was at one point within the last month. He was like literally the #1.
Are you serious?
Yeah, he goes ham on that shit. He has like a massive. He's like building a Twitch following and shit too.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
I can't even think of a joke for that.
Yeah,
that's lit.
Shout out to Fox.
Yeah,
I mean, he used to be a ranked like Street Fighter player and some other fighting game. He's like insane on the video game tip, obviously. But yeah, now he just it's like his job. Just
that's sick.
NBA 2K hustle.
That's really. You've been on Twitch
savage.
Too, right?
Yeah, I'm crushing. Trying to crush it now.
I'm right. I've watched you.
Yeah.
I don't know. I was like, oh, let me set this up.
You've done this thing that I witnessed for hours.
Right?
Yeah, twitch.tv/the Saurus wins. I'm streaming mostly just poker tournaments on there, and then I have instrumentals playing in the background. And then anytime someone donates or subscribes to the stream, I like kick a freestyle, incorporate, name, region, anything they type in the chat that they want me to say. And then I also do like a bit of, I guess, like rhyming hand analysis. Like while I'm playing the hand, I'm sort of going through, I'm in rhyme form explaining what's going through my head, which is, I'm definitely the only person in the Twitch poker spectrum doing that.
Yeah.
And the bigger Twitch poker grows, I think the more I can like sort of carve out a niche there.
Finesse that, yeah.
Yeah, man.
So do you only, because I think I've watched you live once, and then I've went back right after you won Attorney and watched the last 20 minutes once.
Yeah.
But is it just tourneys that you do, or you ever do
on there? I only play tournaments online.
Yeah.
I only play tournaments online.
Yeah.
And,
why is that?
Okay, I'm basically technically like a site affiliate for a different skin of the site that I play on. So I play for a site or a network called the Winning Poker Network, which has America's Card Room. That's the main site that most U.S. players and a lot of internationals are playing on, but it's an unregulated site that Americans can play on because there's very few of those available to begin with. And I was offered like an affiliateship with a different skin that still runs the same tournaments, just under a different name as opposed to America's Card Room.
What's the skin? What is that?
It's just, it's like, so there's America's Card Room, there's Black Chip Poker, there's True Poker, there's Poker for You, there's Fab Poker, FAB, and all of those, like you can download any of those softwares. All of them are essentially America's Card Room. They're all just a different skin for America's Card Room.
Okay.
So I'm like an affiliate for one of those, and I basically have like monthly requirements that I have to meet. I can only play tournaments. I'm not allowed to play cash, but I'm also not risking any of my own money. So weekdays, like Monday through Saturday, I get anywhere from 1K to 1,500 in buy-ins. I have to play like a minimum of 5 tournaments per session, and 20 for the week, Monday through Saturday, if I want to play on Sundays. Sundays I get a little bit more in buy-ins because it's like the highest volume as far as tournaments go. There's a lot of bigger buy-ins, and there's the 2 biggest tournaments of the week. So I get 2K to fire on Sundays.
That's sick.
Yeah, and then it's
like insulation, but you obviously have to.
And then it's a 50-50, but I'm at no risk financially of my own.
That's really.
And then if
tight.
I hypothetically have like a losing month and I fall into makeup or something like that, then I have to play to get it back, but I still keep 25% of my profits instead of 50 going forward, and then the rest just goes towards them. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's fire.
Yeah, it's dope.
Yeah.
So that's been like that's like the full-time hustle for the most part, grinding that out.
October was a good month, right?
Really
I know you started off well, at least.
I had 2 outright wins on my stream, and then I had another second place for like 4,400. I was like plus 8K for October just online, which is super solid with me.
Let's go.
I'm hella happy. My old roommate Drew, you know Drew.
Yeah.
He just got second in a tournament in Tahoe 2 nights ago. It was just like a 1-day tournament, $400 buy-in for 11K. Woo. And then my other homie Rusty, on Monday we played a tournament at the Venetian, a $400 buy-in, 100K, just like the one that I won. And usually when I play those tournaments with my friends, we'll swap percentages with each other. It's sort of an insurance policy type of thing. So he and I swapped 5% with each other, and he ended up getting third in it for 12K. So the tournament was only a 400 buy-in, so I got my entire buy-in back, and then a couple extra 100, which is pretty fire. And then we're just gonna. There's like a big schedule that we're firing all month, basically.
That's hella tight.
Yeah, it should be good.
Yeah.
Full-time grind.
When you stream live, do you like do multi-table tournaments?
Yeah,
or just
I'm playing. Oh yeah, I'm playing. But any like 6 tournaments or less at a time, and all of them are multi-table tourneys. Like I'm only the people that like run the site. They only want me playing like the bigger guarantees. Right. The spots that put me in the position to make the most money. Yeah. As opposed to like consistent small percentage profit.
Oh, okay, I got you. I meant like as in, are you multi-tabling?
Oh yeah,
like
multiple I'm playing
different
6
tournaments.
I'm
or
playing
whatever.
like 6 tourneys or less. That's how my Twitch is set up, so I can like click from table to table. Like someone set up my Twitch that way.
That's crazy. So all at once, while you're interacting with people, freestyling and every like
and playing 6 tournaments. Yeah, I mean the thing
robot.
is, but you're folding 75% of hands that you're dealt to begin with. Yeah. So I still have some free time, and like peak is 6 tables. So towards the end of the night, we're getting down to 2 and 3 tables, which is better for me anyways, because then I can draw my focus into those alone, and it's also easier to rap when I have less chaos to pay attention to.
Right. Yeah.
Definitely.
It just make me want to scream. Like I could barely focus on like watching a TV show. I'm like. Like all in my like multi-screening.
Usually it's just music in the background and then play.
That's crazy, man. So like I know the difference is one of them is you can multi-table, but the difference between like live play and online play, like which do you prefer? What are just some different?
I prefer playing live for sure. I think it's a billion times softer. Most people playing online are, for the most part, a lot of them are regulars. You have a lot of software and information that's accessible online.
Yeah, you can like check players' history of folds and shit. Oh,
absolutely. I mean, I run it's called a HUD, a heads-up display, and you can basically customize what statistics you think are the most important to know about somebody, and then sort of adjust your attack or a strategy against them accordingly. Like you can basically, the most key things that you should have on there: how often does a person, it's called VPIP, voluntarily put money in the pot. So how often are they voluntarily calling or just putting chips, calling a raise? Then how often do they pre-flop raise? Is every time that they're first in the pot a raise, or did sometimes they limp in? How often do they 3-bet, meaning how often do they re-raise against someone who open raises? How often do they 4-bet? And then how often do they fold when put in the opposite side of those situations? And then you're trying to exploit that. I mean, there's people on the site.
There's so much information to process in such a quick amount of time.
And that's why when I'm playing 6 tables, it's very helpful. I can just hover my mouse over someone's name, a box pops up, and it'll just be like 25-14. 10-3. And I can just be like, okay.
This is.
I can just be like, oh, this guy's.
Their profile.
Exactly.
They don't raise before the flop a lot, but they're doing it now. Maybe I should be more hesitant.
Like players who were like that, I have them marked in green. If a player's extremely tight, very passive and nitty, they're marked in green. That means you have the green light to blast all streets against them when you're in a pot against them, because it's very unlikely that they're going to be comfortable enough to end up like getting all the way to a river showdown with you and calling off their chips with a worse hand than like a set or top two pair. I mean, it always depends on board texture and things like that, but you have people who just basically refuse to get their money in with one pair, which is long term going to lose them a ton of money, and you're able to exploit them, or even just put them in spots based on like board textures where you can be pretty aware of like a range of hands that they have, and now you know how to exploit it based on what the board texture is. You just know that they never have a piece of it, you know?
Yeah. So it makes sense that, it's softer in real life, just because people are like, oh, I'll just go play some poker.
You have more
Where you're not
casual-
like having to download software and like learn how to use it, and it's like more of a commitment to play online.
And even just not having that like info box in front of you, you're a lot more susceptible to human error, even the good players. And a lot of the good players playing live, they're like more capable of spazzing off all of their chips than some of the casual recreational players. The casual recreational players, most of them you're able to exploit because they play too tight and too passively. So once you're able to pick up on that, you can just pretty much pounce and bleed them from chips. It's a slow death for them.
Right.
Whereas a lot of like the pros, when they get heads up, especially with another pro, they're sort of overthinking spots and trying to out-level each other, and they're more susceptible to make like huge blow-ups with marginal hands because they're just like, well,
I got all the information.
I have ace-5 suited here, which means it's 25% likely that he can have aces or ace-king or ace or hands that have me dominated, things like that.
It's like having too much knowledge to consider.
It's leveling yourself into making bad decisions, which it happens a lot. And you also, live, you have a ton of ego, especially like, it's like more, I think it's like regionally dependent. Like here in LA, live poker is so ego driven, it is insane. It's a lot of.
It's very LA.
It's it fits the city. It's a lot of a lot of inexperienced casual players at the card rooms who are basically saying, I value X amount of dollars this little compared to you, and what. And,
this is nothing to me.
Exactly, and you're just like, well, cool. It's something to me. If you're there to play, if you're playing to make money, like you want that all day. You know what I'm saying? There's just more that you can exploit live for sure, and I don't know, physical reads. It's a lot easier to physically read like casual, non-regular players, and the social element is the most fun, which is why I enjoy playing on Twitch, because now I finally have a social element to go with the online grind, because online, it's work. Like I wake up and I'm like, oh, we're clocking in for like an 8-hour day. If I want to make some good money today, it's going to be an 8-hour day, and it'll be worth it at the end of the day, but there's not going to be a lot of human interaction other than like some texts and some tweets and shit. But now that I have Twitch, I have, at least a few dozen people chatting. Exactly. I have like conversation I can feed off. And because of that too, more players on the site that I play on know that I'm streaming now, so they're more interactive just in the chat on the site, and they'll get more conversation going, which is good as well. And
you ever, so like you're, as far as like the pros, being susceptible to swings and stuff, what I've noticed, like I played, by no means, but I played a little bit. I played at casinos, this and that. Yeah. And what I noticed, like my mom is a great example. She knows how to play poker, as in like what the things to get up. Yeah, but
what it takes to make a hand.
But there's not really any it's totally like old school, like go off the gut. It's tunnel vision. But she's so unpredictable. Yeah, like there's never, I can even like trying to get a read, or like for by contrast, her my stepdad, her husband Eric, he's more methodical. He's like red super system, and he plays. I can get a read on him more often
because it's more ABC.
Or my mom will fuck around and like fold a top pair or something, or like call you to the end with the nuts, not know she has the nuts, or like raise you with you never know what.
The unpredictability factor.
And so there, I mean, if you ran across that,
a ton of times, of times, and the way
it's like frustrating to play with those.
You have to basically, you have to be more willing to gamble, basically, because once you find out what they're capable of, you have to be more willing to gamble yourself. And you have to just know that, like, long term, as long as you're playing correctly,
Right.
in theory, you should come out ahead.
Yeah.
You should definitely. And
My mom will like call you down with like nothing, one hand, literally have nothing.
Yeah.
Like, I just thought you didn't have
I
anything. I'm
can't-
like, but you didn't have anything. Like,
where
you
you-
had the board.
I thought you were bluffing, but you can't beat a bluff.
Yeah, like you didn't even try to bet.
Yeah.
But then next hand she'll like check raise and have like it's
With the
there's
same
no
nothing.
strategy.
With the same nothing.
Yeah, there's no.
You just sort of have to. I mean, you have to be more willing to play
Odd-driven,
like
like-
higher variance spots, like you know,
Yeah.
against players like that. You have to be like, okay, well, they're more willing to mix it up, so
Yeah.
I have to be more willing to do the same with hands I wouldn't necessarily do the same with, especially against other pros where your edges are like so much more marginal. You should be like minimizing. You should be controlling the size of the pot, taking flops, and trying to like minimize your losses against other good people, but. You got to be like more willing to gamble against the loose cannons. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh, it's good for the game too.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
absolutely good for the game.
And like I got second to the nuts. Like you could have that, and not even know it,
and without
Oh
even
my
without
God.
having the slightest clue. You know,
Yeah.
even like you can even play that person occasionally. Like if I go play a small cash game or something like that, happily like play that person who's just reckless throwing chips around, because you're also, I mean, if you're aware of it, you can set a tone for the table that makes everyone loosen up around you.
Yeah.
And the next thing you know, everyone's like subconsciously playing worse. And
yeah. Or even like slightly like recessive. Like, oh, I like it. It's
yeah.
funny.
Oh, you build
like,
the rapport with
subcon-
people. They
yeah.
don't. Yeah, absolutely. People soft play against you and things like that for sure. That's all like positives again of the social element.
Yeah.
Like you actually, especially the deeper you go in these tourneys and whatnot, you
Yeah.
like you build table rapport with people. There's especially against like the older folks, like. If they start to like you, they're gonna be a little more passive against you, and they sort of like they want to keep you around to talk to.
I
and
just
shoot
want to
the
be
shit.
here and
Yeah.
suck on my Werther's original
Yeah.
and chop it up.
Yo,
with
you have a lot of people too that have way too much money to where winning the tournament is going to make a difference regardless, and they're just social gamblers. Who
Right.
just they don't want to sit at the house all day and watch fucking
Matlock.
home shopping network
Right,
and fucking
right.
Antiques Roadshow, you know.
Yeah.
So they come down to the card room and hang out with the boys, and whatever. If you lose $300-400, like so be it. I got to hang out, have some drinks with the guys. We got to
Yeah.
shoot the shit, tell some jokes. It's always a good time. Like anytime I mean, it sucks busting out of a tournament, especially one that you've invested a decent amount of money in. But you can always like find that you know what you signed up for. Especially
Yeah.
tournaments are so high variance to begin with. You're only a
You
really
kind of got to
good-
go in and on like this is gone.
as soon as you, the
Yeah,
money, you have
it's
to
not
write
mine.
off the money as
Yeah.
soon as you buy into the tourney. It can't mean anything to you to begin with. Otherwise, it's going to affect the way you approach it,
Right.
for sure.
Yeah.
Because tournaments are, like, a great tournament player is cashing in 20% of the tourneys that they play.
Yeah.
Which isn't a lot.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
But with buy-in in proportion to what they're taking down,
Exactly.
it's like
yeah.
becomes.
And when you win one of them or something like that, you're looking at like 100 buy-ins or something along those lines.
Have you seen that movie? Because we've all seen Rounders, obviously classic. Which there's
Molly's
I'm
Game?
like when I just watched that.
Molly's
the other
Game's
night.
fire.
So fire.
Okay, so my boy David.
If you haven't seen it, it's on. Is it on? No, it's not on
It's
Netflix.
not on Netflix.
I just had. I think Alfie bought it on.
It's
Apple
relatively
TV,
new.
and
It's a
I'm on
true
the
story.
network.
It's
Fire.
it's 100% true story. My boy David Paredes, who's a pro, he's won a couple of major titles, but he's mostly like a full-time cash pro. He's from the East Coast area, lives just outside of Boston. He's been to a couple of the KOTD Boston events. He's actually the homie who got me my Larry Bird jersey.
Oh,
And
nice.
when I shout out his boy before the battle, R.I.P. Jay Farley, by the way, it was before the DNA battle, like where I first wore that jersey.
And then Jordans.
And
That you
shout out
wore
Big K.
against Big K.
Shout out Big K. And that's hella funny. He wow, I wore the same pair of shoes twice. Crazy. So,
He's on my ears. Can
it's
fit in
actually
my
not
hat.
true.
It's actually not true. Somebody looked that up online. It's
That's
not true.
hella funny.
Really?
Shout out to Battle fans looking it up.
Fact check.
So my boy David Paredes,
Yeah.
though, he wrote a couple of scenes for that movie to begin with. He was like, because he played in Molly's actual game.
Damn.
And okay, so Michael Cera's character
Yeah.
is actually Tobey Maguire in real life.
You know what? I was like, because back when I first started watching poker, even like '02 or whatever. Like I was starting getting watching
and he was
the
on
World
WSOB.
Series '03.
He was getting
and
coached by
money.
Negreanu, and he started
Yeah,
running
that's
over
what
all
I
these
noticed,
pros.
yeah.
Yo, he got audited for like 11 million in untaxed winnings. This happened shortly after she, like, you know, got popped or whatever. He was one of the people in the book. He ended up getting
That's
popped for like
crazy
11
because
million
I
in winnings.
honestly was like, I don't know. There's probably celebrities I don't know that play,
Tobey
but I know
Maguire.
he's a player just from the World Series of Poker and shit.
I wish they would have
that's
picked
crazy.
Michael Cera's like so like likable that I wish they would have picked someone more douchey based on the character, how he because he's kind of a dick, how he comes,
Yeah,
you know what I'm
yeah,
saying?
yeah.
I wish they would have made it someone.
He's kind of unlikable in the movie, or you
Yeah,
can just
but
tell
it's
he's
still,
like,
but it's Michael Cera, and you're
Yeah,
just like,
yeah,
oh, it's
yeah.
like the kid from Superbad who like
Right.
couldn't harm a fly. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
he's like
yeah.
he's like a baby
They
deer.
should have got his like stepbrother who was starting Facebook, the network.
Yo, real
you
shit.
know the slightly like
100%.
bootleg version of
The
like
Zuckerberg. Yeah, I know exactly.
'cause,
Jesse.
they're like two. I would always confuse them.
Jesse
like,
Eisenberg, I think
Yeah,
is his
yeah,
name.
yeah.
Yo, 100%. a little more dick, a little more unlikable.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Damn. So
But yeah, that was Tobey Maguire.
that's crazy.
Yeah. And so my boy David wrote the scene.
This was
My boy David Paredes wrote the scene. Do you remember where the old guy folds like trips or something like that?
yeah.
And he has a meltdown after
Yeah,
because
yeah,
the fish,
yeah.
one of the fish's cards
Right,
exposed.
and then he, like, just
goes on
goes-
mega
yeah,
tilt and
yeah.
loses like $500,000 or whatever it is.
It's like
So,
1.5 or
yeah,
some shit. Yeah.
my boy David Paredes wrote that scene where he mucks the hand and then goes on mega tilt. Yeah.
He's like, against
Loses
some-
his mind.
and it was against the dude who
He's like, so you
couldn't ever win.
Exactly, it's like
but he
Whale
didn't know.
Doug or whoever it is. And he's just like, wait, you didn't have kings full? And he's like, I didn't have king anything. He's like, I had a 5.
Yeah, he's like, I had a pair. And there was the board. that was
the
broke.
2 barrel,
He's like-
the 2 queens on board. Exactly.
No, that movie was tight.
Yeah.
It was fire.
Yeah, it's a crazy story, right?
Yeah.
She's like an Olympic athlete. So her brother, one of her brothers he was like a return man for the Eagles, but he was also, the whole family is like professional skiers, and they've all like.
the band?
They're all medalists. What up?
The Eagles?
No.
Like,
Yeah. Whatever. Yeah.
when they made a comeback,
Yeah.
he subbed in his bass.
Yeah, one of her brothers returned kickoffs for the band of the Eagles.
You said return man. I figured they
okay.
subbed him in when they made a big comeback.
Fair. Nah, something Bloom though. I forget what his first name was. And then,
But her brother.
Yeah, and then she had another brother who was like an Olympic
Right.
medalist
Yeah.
skier as well. It's a pretty crazy story.
Yeah, he was like #1 or something, according to the movie at the time when she was like competing in the Olympics or
Yeah,
something.
in the one where the trial where she got injured or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's an insane story.
Rounders, you know, like when you know something about a little bit about something and you see a movie about it and you're like, that wouldn't be the case. You know, I used to just
There was
hate
a
when they
couple
would
of
shove
spots-
all in and all their chips like splash and I'll be like,
That wouldn't
wouldn't happen.
There's a couple instances in Molly's game where that happened too. There's a hand where it's Michael Cera and it's like some other whatever celeb or someone with tons of money who's playing in a pot against him. And Molly's like explaining the hand as it's going on. And she's like, right now, like player X is talking this guy into folding the nuts. And it's like, okay.
Oh yeah, I remember. I don't want to
No,
take your
just-
money. I don't.
and it's
yeah,
like,
yeah.
just
I'm
all
like,
you have-
that's
all
kind
she-
of a tell for the
But
opposite.
all she has to do is, okay, first, the nuts, for those of you who don't know poker, the nuts is that means literally it's an unbeatable hand at
Right.
the time. Which means, all she has to do is pick a different choice of words. Because you're not going to convince a player to fold the virtual nuts, which is the best possible hand at the time.
just with mind games.
With mind games,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
But, you know,
Unless they just don't know.
Unless they
for
don't,
some
unless they have
reason.
no idea what they're doing. But it was
then
just a
why
poor
are they-
choice of words. And
Yeah.
my boy David Paredes even like spoke up about it, and he's like, "Yeah, Aaron Sorkin did not give the slightest fuck like what I had to say about that."
He's
Also,
like, we're saying the nuts as much as possible.
also,
I mean,
when they go to Commerce to like scout the guy play or whatever before they bring him into the game, there's people like smoking cigarettes at the table and shit, and it's like, yo, man, this is California. That hasn't happened. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Well, this is like what though? The 90s?
It was in the the 2000s.
It
Oh,
was
it
in
was
the
definitely. It was still
2000s?
in like the later 2000s.
Oh,
Oh, yeah,
okay,
because the
yeah.
online poker boom happened in like 02.
Yeah, yeah.
Something like that.
Oh,
The
03
Moneymaker
was
boom.
Moneymaker.
Moneymaker's
That's when a
03.
lot of-
Exactly.
yeah,
That was the
That
boom.
was another big reason.
And then
It's
her-
like, oh, regular douchebag.
Her,
Larry the
she
Cable
was probably
Guy.
2010, 2011, something like that. This was probably
okay.
something along those
Yeah,
lines.
yeah.
My boy David actually is like pretty infamous in the online world. There was a huge scandal with a site called Absolute Poker.
I used to play on Absolute Poker.
So several years
I probably
ago,
still have like $8 in there or
a
something.
programmer and a couple other players basically got like some master hand history to the site to where they could see everybody at the table's hands face up on an online site. And then,
Live, not like
while they're
retro-
playing, they could see everybody's hands. So these guys obviously just went on an absolute.
Oh, I think you told me.
Yeah,
That this
they
is-
went on a huge rampage, and my boy David was the first person to come forward and be like, "Look, I don't care how this makes me look as a player. Like, I have however many thousands of hand histories with this person specifically, and something is he's either
they're
a
playing
bot or
different.
something is going
Yeah.
on." He's like, "There's no way, like." Something overly
Total
suspicious
change of
happened where it was
character.
the person who knew what the hole cards were, he like called an all-in river bluff with like 9 high or 10 high or something like that.
Right.
And then my boy was just like,
why would you? Why?
yeah, like
that's
why
no,
would
no, way.
no human would do that?
Yeah.
Especially a competent player who, you know what I'm saying? It's
Yeah.
just not ever going to happen. And then you see it happen over and over. Basically, this person greeted themselves into, I mean, they got like permanently banned from the network, but they didn't have to give any money back. They got to keep everything.
What?
Yeah.
Because it's like probably just a loophole of like, hey,
Yeah.
that's
This-
your fault.
this
The-
happened.
The site didn't provide the
This
security.
happened, yeah. And now they have
and there's just
protection against it, I
regulation
assume.
ain't
Yeah.
on that. Damn.
Yeah. Hundreds of thousands. But this guy, whoever it was, could have made hundreds of thousands every year for the rest of their life. Or until the site got shut down.
Is that what?
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, exactly. If you just weren't as obvious
don't get
with
greedy.
it. Yeah. So, didn't something happen with like either PokerStars or Absolute where everybody's
and
money
Full
got
Tilt.
frozen?
Yeah, that
for
was
like,
a long time ago.
I just vaguely remember.
It was called Black
happening.
Friday. It was
what happened? It's like millions of
April.
dollars,
Oh yeah,
right?
they shut down PokerStars and Full Tilt and declared. First, they initially declared.
This is the government shutting it.
Yeah,
the government,
it was
man.
seized by the U.S. government and declared a Ponzi scheme. First, their initial issue was it's tens of billions of dollars. The industry, the poker industry, with that much money
They want some.
being exchanged untaxed. Yeah, they stepped in and wanted
it's like
some.
the mob.
Then they found out that Full Tilt, the owners of Full Tilt, Howard Lederer, a couple other people, Jesus Ferguson wasn't directly involved, but he's like still heavily looked down upon because he's like he was one of the higher ups that knew people were being scummed. Basically, like a lot of the higher ups that worked for Full Tilt at one point were spending site money. They were spending player funds like it was going out of style because they basically thought we have this infinite source of printing rake and like tournament entry fees. We're never
We'll
going
make
to
it
run out of
back
money. But it
eventually.
was at a point where hypothetically, if every player that was registered on the site withdrew, they wouldn't have been able to cover it, which is obviously a massive fucking scheme.
Yeah,
you know what I'm
yeah.
saying? So they got declared a Ponzi scheme. They
It's like
got
banks.
shut down as well.
Same thing with banks. They wouldn't be able to pay.
Eventually, what happened was, okay, Full Tilt got frozen. I had like 13K frozen on Full Tilt when it got frozen, and it was for like 3 or 4 years that it was stuck on there. And PokerStars eventually bought Full Tilt out and repaid like all of the player debt, and then after doing that, they just shut Full Tilt down, and PokerStars just like kind of cornered the market on its own. Basically, PokerStars is kind of fading right now, and Party Poker's taken over once again, which is another one of the old school sites.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I
that was
remember the
Black
ads
Friday.
and
That
shit
was
where it's,
it's actually
who was Helmuth? Was it Ultimate Bet or
yeah,
something like that?
that got shut down too.
Oh, okay.
It was actually the weekend that it got shut down. You remember when it must have been during like maybe the KOTD 2-on-2 tourney or something like that. You remember when I like drove up from Monterey to Portland because my mom was up there or something like that, and I like
Yeah,
helped her
yeah,
move.
yeah, yeah.
And then we like I had that hotel and we chilled and like prepared for
Yeah, it
one
was
of the
like in the
rounds.
winter. I remember
Yeah,
it
it
was
was
like
probably one
the
of the.
roads were,
I
like,
think it was like
snowy.
March or some shit, something like that. But that's when that was that weekend that Black Friday happened. Because I remember getting a text when I was driving up there with my brother, and someone was like, "Yo, man, what are you gonna do about this poker shit?" And I was like, "What are you talking about?" And they're like, "It just got like seized by the government." And I was like, "Nah, I just like won attorney last night." They're like, "Well, you better check on it." 13 hours later, when I got to fucking Portland, you know, I like go on my laptop and it's like, this site has been seized by whatever, you know, branch.
So what is the resolution of that? Did the government was like,
now,
oh, we're kind of tripping.
Online gaming is currently illegal in 46 states. It's not. It's only legal to play
But
online poker.
how is that? Because the internet is not.
Okay, you
like,
have unregulated sites that you can play on, but you have to be aware that at any time, the same thing that happened to Stars or Full Tilt could just happen on whatever Bovada or whatever the sites that people play on. Even ACR, the site that I play on. I played on Bovada a ton too. That's one of the better sites to play on. It's very soft. A lot of sports bettors play on there, but the software's trash. But when your money's on there, you're gonna get it off fine. There's never really gonna be a problem. Usually, you can even, if you have like a crypto wallet, you can withdraw within an hour. Like the money will be within your crypto account within hours, and then you can just turn it to cash. If anybody knows anything about that. Or you can get, checks sent to you.
How did they resolve that though? Like, were they?
It's not.
It's not resolved. That money basically just got taken, but then it absorbed. The debt was absorbed, or
all the player funds were returned. All player. So PokerStars
But is that why with the government giving the money back to the sites, or with the site just absorbing that loss? With PokerStars absorbing that loss?
The government basically said you can't operate here now, but you can operate overseas. So Stars is fully operative overseas. You can play in fucking Canada. You can play in Mexico. It's there's people who VPN and play constantly, like in the States. You know what I'm saying? So it's still fully operational. They never shut down like completely. They were still open for Euros.
Right, yeah.
And then, or actually they shut down completely temporarily. Then they came back up. Then they refunded all non-Americans got refunded first. And then eventually Americans got refunded.
Got you.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
We were last to get our money back.
So what's a regulated site?
WSOP.com. PokerStars actually exists in Jersey because Jersey's a legal state. Party Poker and PokerStars are not. But we don't have PokerStars. This year became legal to file for legislation in Vegas, so they can if they want to. But WSOP has the market pretty well cornered in Vegas, at least.
Well, you know how you do home games and shit? Like I was throwing a little, rinky-dink home game for a while, 10, 12 play. Can you do that
as long as you
don't, a website where it's like you create like a private table or whatever and invite
ACR offers that. America's Card Room offers that. You can
I'd be
do
sick
like
to
weekly
do
home
with
games.
like
there's people who are part of the team that I'm on
shit
that do
like
it.
that, and also other people like doing
open
some kind
invite,
of monthly
$10 buy-in, or $20 buy-in.
That would be a sick ass thing to do for like the Patreon or something.
That's dope.
Like, hey, fans, get a buy-in for this.
And then the site like sets up the structure basically, like the pay structure based on how many players it gets.
Damn, that's a good idea.
Yeah, it's tight.
Take that down. It'd be a sick little, cause I like playing. I love playing poker. You know what I mean? I got my own set, all that. I read a couple books. I haven't played like that in a while, but there was a couple years where I was like,
down
a few
here,
years where I was super.
They said, like, in theory, this is the number. If you're gonna move anywhere in the country to play cash games full time, it's LA is the number one place in the country.
I'd be sick. We should start a little
I'm hella down
with
to
like
start a home
fans
game
and
on
shit.
that.
Like,
That would be dope.
Do like monthly or
I would definitely,
like that.
We could do one a month. That'd be easy.
Sick.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask about this. Is actually Chase was like, you should ask him while we're on gaming subject. He's like, yeah, I seen him tweeting about Red Dead. He's like, ask him about video games. I'm like, Saurus ain't playing no video games. He's playing poker. He's like, no,
mostly sports games is what I fuck with, but I definitely did just cop Red Dead 2, and it's amazing. It's so fire. But I mean, I
haven't played it.
I go ham on
I've been
Madden.
stuck on Far Cry.
Word.
I can't. Far Cry 5. I can't.
I'm hella tempted to get a
else.
PS4 because the exclusive games are so so.
Like what exclusive games? Specifically?
Spider-Man, God of War, The Last of Us 2 trailer is like the craziest thing I might have ever seen for a video game. It's so dramatic.
seen it.
It's like a movie trailer. It was so dramatic.
Damn.
It's fucking incredible. I've heard Spider-Man alone is like worth getting the system for.
Spider-Man looked crazy. It looked
And
satisfying.
the
like
newest God of
physics
War
of
is
the
supposed to be
swinging
out
and
of
shit.
control. They have a few more exclusives that are supposed to be coming out next year too. And Xbox hasn't dropped an exclusive.
All you need is Far Cry 5, bro.
Really?
That's
Really?
all you need.
Okay.
That online shooter again, like the environment, everything, and online play. And it's a thing where users create maps infinitely. So it's like always, if you want like play suggested maps or whatever, it's just always a new map, and it'll be like throwback like Mario Kart levels that people made, or like Call of Duty levels, Halo levels. There's a ton of levels where it's like you're miniature, so it'll be like in a kitchen and you're like hella small, like
That's
parachuting off the fridge.
Word.
And yeah, there's like WWE, like, and it's all only hands or like handheld weapons, but it's super satisfying. It's
That's
definitely like my
fire.
favorite shooter. I like play Call of Duty or Black Ops and all these. I'm like,
I
Far
heard
Cry
the new
5.
Call of Duty is pretty lit.
Yeah.
They have the fucking.
I haven't played the new
like
the new Modern Warfare, right?
Yeah,
I haven't
they
played
have
that
like
one.
the like 100-man fucking free for all mode, just like
Oh,
on
like
some,
Fortnite or
on some
whatever?
Fortnite and PUBG shit.
Oh yeah,
and
Tracy
apparently
said something
it's
about
incredible. I've heard it's really dope.
I'd be down to play that. It'd be
I
sick.
prefer PUBG over Fortnite, to be honest. I don't really care too much for like building towers and shit. I want to
I
just.
played
post up.
Fortnite for like fucking, like, I don't know, like 20 times. And my first time ever playing, I got like 13th.
Yeah, I got like
at
a one top 5 in like one of my first 3 ever, and
Yeah.
and then the wall closed in on me. I was like, "What's happening? Why am I dead?"
I never got good at building.
Me either.
And so I was just,
It's not my
and
thing.
that's like pertinent.
Yeah.
You know
Oh
what
yeah.
I mean?
That's
like,
why PUBG's better, because you can just post up in like a bush and just fucking snipe people's face off. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's fire. Nah, yeah. What? I asked.
Sports games is my shit though. Like I'm like hardcore on Madden, and I'll either like fantasy draft an entire league, or I'll just like put together an absurd team.
With fools
On Madden? Sometimes, like
Yeah.
against friends and shit. Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. Play live and gamble. Yeah.
You're a big sports fan, and
Yeah.
there's big news recently, right? You're a Boston fan.
Yo,
all
go
around,
Red
right?
Sox.
For the chat, why are you a fan of Boston sports?
Yeah.
Because of my dad.
Mm.
My dad was always he raised me right.
So speaking of that,
Sox
then,
and Celts, and then I became a Buccaneers fan. I'm a Tampa Bay Buccaneers fan for football. But I grew up in the Bay, and I was always a Niner fan. I was a Joe Montana fan, die hard.
Montana.
And then he dipped. The team was in my little 9-year-old mind, they were turning their back on the GOAT. You know what I'm saying? Steve Young came in, the
Yeah.
lefty, and still, in my opinion, the most overrated quarterback in NFL history. I'm probably wrong, but it's okay. I'm
I'll
often
fuck
wrong.
with Steve Young.
I'm not a huge.
Oh, wait, was that with Jerry Rice era?
Rice was still there for
Yeah,
Steve Young, and
but he
Steve
was there
Young
for
won,
Montana as
and
well,
Steve Young
so-
still won rings.
Yeah.
But Montana was my dude. So I spent a couple years in limbo, and then the Bucks drafted my favorite college player of all time, Warwick Dunn, who was a running back from Florida State, who was a savage. They drafted Sapp, Derek Brooks, and a local Monterey area hometown hero at quarterback, the homie Trent Dilfer. And then I was like, well, we got to ride with the local, you know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
yeah.
So then since then, the Bucks have been the squad. The Niners,
Gotcha.
I felt betrayed by the Niners, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So it must be bittersweet with
the Red Sox winning was
with the
amazing.
Sox winning the champion, the whatever they call it, the pennant,
The World Series?
Yeah, World Series. It must be bittersweet, right?
pennant, yeah, the pennant's right, though.
It's got to be bittersweet
The
because
Giants won the pennant.
it's
Why?
Boston winning, but it's baseball.
Fair.
So it's like,
fair.
fuck, they
So-
won baseball? Like, who cares
Yeah.
about baseball?
I mean, the thing about baseball season is it's so long that I really only follow the last month or so.
last inning.
Oh, what? They're 3 outs away from winning a ring.
You know how most sports people tell you, like, oh, like football, you watch it, but if you're there, it's an amazing experience. Baseball is worse in person.
I mean, baseball is It's just like
it's just like, oh, okay.
it's like an
It looks-
alternative to like the library. You know, it's like, you know what I'm saying.
I went to one baseball game, a Dodger game last year, and the only reason I went is because it was called Pups at the Park, and everyone brought dogs, and I sat in the section where there was dogs, and so like being able
You're
to get
just
some
chilling.
free pets
I
made
feel
it
you.
like
feel you.
tolerable. You know what I mean? But other than that, I was just
me,
like,
Mad Flex-
baseball's the worst.
Me, Mad Flex, and Real Deal hit a
I'd
Red
rather
Sox
watch
game.
soccer than baseball.
Well, you'd rather watch grass grow with soccer players in the way?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
yeah. It's the worst.
When at the last Boston event, me and Real Deal and Mad Flex went to a Red Sox game, and it was actually pretty tight. I mean, the Sox crushed them. It makes it more entertaining when you're there watching a good, like, productive offense, because then at least things are happening, and the audience is interactive and whatnot. And then it's just me, the chef, and Mad Flex just roasting like everything in sight while we're there. You know what I'm saying? And they won. So since that day, which was like sometime I think in May, probably, maybe May, whatever.
Yeah.
Let's go with May.
May sounds good.
Anyways, we basically took responsibility for them winning that championship. So we're waiting on our invite to the parade so we can get our rings. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Flex and Trev, you know?
Yeah. Fuck baseball.
I'm not mad at it. I'm not mad at it at all. I definitely prefer football and basketball. Basketball, I love.
Yeah, basketball is
It's
my
so
shit,
like the
yeah.
pace is great, and honestly though, with the Golden Knights in town now in Vegas, I've definitely my eyes have opened up more to hockey. It's the hockey team in Vegas.
I've never been to a hockey game, but I want to
live
go
hockey
to a
games
hockey
are
game.
absolutely insane.
That's all I've
They
heard,
are
yeah.
dope. That is the sport that the sentence. If you're there live, it's different. That is the most like applicable.
Isn't there a thing where they're getting like more away from the fighting too? Like more,
No, you
like
still
it's
see
like
fights.
heavily penalized now and more serious,
You're
right?
still seeing. There's still players who just like to fight. It's hella funny. There's like clips on YouTube where it'll just be like, two hockey players on opposing teams just sort of like skating side by side down the ice with each other, and they're just like, "So you want to go now, eh? All right, let's do it." And then they just square up, you know what I'm saying?
Put your money where your mouth
It's
is.
just like two like Canadian brutes, just like slugfest, you know what I'm saying?
Damn.
It's so like casual. It's just, it's part of the sport.
Yeah.
But I
It's
didn't
like
realize.
UFC and figure skating and baseball mixed together. You got the stick.
Very little figure skating. I mean, there's not a lot of trickery. Not much. They're not doing.
Go backwards.
Yeah, you
like
do have to be
You're
able to skate
on
backwards.
ice skates.
You are.
What other curling?
You're
I
on-
guess you're
right.
on.
You
on
are
it,
on
too.
ice skates.
Yeah, that's pretty pretty accurate. You ever watch swimming?
Like during the Olympics, yeah. I'll watch like a Michael Phelps run because
Yeah, of course.
because I'm an American.
Goddamn, blue-blooded American.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Actually, Michael Phelps is a poker player.
Really?
Yeah, he's a huge degen. He's like really good friends
gambler.
with Antonio Esfandiari.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Negreanu's going to be at the premiere tonight.
Really?
He has a small scene in the movie. He has he's like in the library.
I don't
For
remember
some
that.
scene, he's in the library for some scene in the movie, and he like tells the kids to shut up or something like that. But
Damn,
I think there's a chance he might have even like helped out behind the scenes somehow with the movie or something,
That's
because
sick.
I know Joseph Kahn is like really good friends with another former high stakes pro, this guy Justin Smith, who goes by Boosted J, who is like another he used to be an absolute monster high stakes, and now the guy just collects like art pieces that are worth 8 figures and shit. He's super baller. Really cool dude too. Really fucking cool dude. But I know him and Joseph are like good friends, you know what I'm saying? I remember one time during WSOP, it was like I still lived in LA. It was one of my last few days in Vegas for the World Series, and I had driven out there from LA. Justin was out there. He had just finished playing the main event or whatever it was. He was on his way back home. He hits me up hella randomly, and he's like, "Yo, are you still in Vegas?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm probably going to be heading back to LA pretty soon." He goes, "Yeah, that's actually why I was hitting you up." He goes, this is one of the most insane sentences that's ever been said to me, and it's also like it's like such a needling what if moment because I couldn't do it. But he goes, "Yeah, so I'm on Paris Hilton's jet flying back right now, and we have an extra seat if you need to fly back to LA." And I'm like, my car's here with me. Like, so I would have essentially would have had to go back to LA just to do it, which I should have done. I'm an idiot. You know what I'm saying? Should have done just to then find a way back to Vegas to get my car to then drive back to LA. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you fucked up.
Probably still worth it. Yeah. So I'm sorry for yeah, exactly. I was just like, yeah, that seems like a real sentence that someone is just
that is crazy.
Insane. And I still to this day I'm like, man, I wonder what the conversations on that. It was probably like him, Andy, because I know Andy Milanakis is good friends with him too. So it's probably him, Andy, and an assortment of other people that I just would have never imagined being
together
in a room with, let alone on a private plane.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Oh, it's so insane.
It's like, you play poker? That's hot.
Yeah. That's hot.
Gonna get flagged now.
For doing that?
Video monetized.
Guaranteed. Oh, definitely. She's about to own you right now, bro.
You mentioned crypto wallet earlier, and I know you Bitcoin.
Yeah,
you
a little
still
bit.
got some bread in Bitcoin.
I have a little. I mean,
I know it's been
plummeted
crazy.
hard
yeah.
for sure.
Because I talked to you at one point, and it was on the
going nuts.
upswing. It was going
and
crazy.
I sold a good chunk of what I had. I had a little bit in some altcoins through a friend who like owned one of the companies and was basically just like, yo, if you help me promote some of this through Twitter, it was the pink coin, and
yeah. I got pink coin
some of it
still.
as well, and
it was worth like whatever I had. I don't know if it's like 15,000 or whatever coin, but it was worth like I want to say almost a rat. It was like 800 or something at one point. I think I checked it recently, and it was like $30 or something. I know it was like 100 and 150
all
some shit
coins
like that.
Crashed super hard.
Yeah.
It was, I mean, even Bitcoin did. It peaked at like 20K, and it's right now, it's probably at like 6,300 or something along those lines. I mean, there's still so much uncertainty behind it, which of course leads to its instability. Mm-hmm. It's not even something that I like completely understand.
Right, yeah.
Any further than like, I know that but like right before it started the upswing, I knew a lot of people who were a lot smarter than me and knew a lot more about it than me were very heavily into it and basically saying like for a minimal investment you could turn it into something. Fortunately, I didn't have to invest anything out of my own pocket because my boy was just like, look, if you help me promote this, I'll shoot you some of the coin and then let's see what happens with it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then fortunately I had enough of it. I had 1 million of the coin, which at the time was only worth like $500, and then it upticked to 20K, and then it peaked at like 100. I mean, I still have like a little over half of what I sold off a ton of it for sure. And I bought some Bitcoin with some of it. I sold off some just to have like money to freely do what I want and travel as comfortably and as often as I do. Like, I'll afford my daughter things like, luxuries, things like that. It's, be able to be my own boss for longer.
You had like there's I forget what currency, but like Ethereum. Ethereum. I just started, like I was like, I got some bread and I was gonna invest in some crypto. I was reading hella shit and like watching little YouTube videos and shit. And
right now is not a bad buying point.
Right?
Ethereum.
Yeah, it's at one video I read made or seen, I think, is about investing, and they're talking about how like if you watch because like Visa, the company, like MasterCard and shit, are like investing in certain companies. It's like that's something to look for.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because
once banks start backing their money with crypto, like a few were doing with Ripple and a couple other smaller coins, like back when the boom was taking place. That's when people started taking notice of me, like, and Ethereum is one of them. Yeah. It's like, if a bank or a credit card company is starting to back the dollar with that, then I trust their knowledge of wealth. I mean, their understanding of wealth even more than just understanding, like the general understanding of money, because they're two completely different things too. And I definitely would follow that that trail for sure.
Yeah,
I would say anytime you follow a bank's trend. I mean,
when they're investing in their direct competition, essentially, it's like, okay, there could be some something here.
Yeah, and right now is a good entry point. It's like you can get it for under 100 a share, essentially.
Really?
A coin or a share. It peaked at like fucking.
What's that do you know what that's at in
or something
comparison
like
to Bitcoin right now?
Bitcoin's like 6,300. Ethereum's like 80 or something a coin, something like that. Yeah.
And Ethereum's
80
like
to
more of a
90.
diverse
Yeah.
Application of the shit,
blockchain
right?
technology.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I don't really know too much about that.
Same. It's not even something I understand. Like.
It's an internet
Well,
shit.
yeah, it's not something I understand well enough to put
Dark
all of my
web.
faith and all of my marbles into. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I mean, I have a lot of friends, especially in the poker community, who are heavily invested, even still, who didn't, they either didn't sell enough or, some of them didn't sell all. And there's some who are still buying at these current prices because they think that it's a good thing, like it's a good value.
Mm-hmm. It could upswing.
Yeah.
It's
My
crazy.
boy TJ bought, I want to say he got like 50 Ethereum. This was over a year and a half ago. He got like 50 Ethereum. I want to say he got them at $20 a piece or something like that. He got like 50 of them for $1,000 or something along those lines. They peak at like $2K a piece. And he sold, I think he sold all. He might have 3 or 4 left just to have.
So that was a bread.
Yeah, oh yeah, for sure.
Woo!
Yeah.
That's a flip.
And there's a lot of people who made crazy turnarounds like that.
Right.
Especially like like the boom happened. It's funny, like right before WSOP last year is kind of when the upswing started. And then it kept just going haywire. It's crazy. Because I remember at the start of the summer, I was able to get like 3 Bitcoin for like less than $1,200 a piece. And I was like, okay, cool. We'll just see how this goes. You know what I'm saying? And then, within 3 weeks, it's at like 3K. And then I'm like, all right, we're just going to ride it until the fucking wheels fall off.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? And then I sold one.
I remember at one point you're like, I'm rich.
When it got-
I am rich now.
When they got even to like 8K, I was like, well, I'm going to sell one now because
Yeah.
I'm like 3Xing my investment.
Already
And then I
up
still
top.
have 2 more to free roll.
Yeah.
And then they ended up peaking at 20. I didn't sell at 20. I wish I would have, of course. But, another at 15 and another at like 14 or whatever.
You're part of the 1%.
Oh, am I?
Yeah, no, 30, what is it, 35,000 a year
Oh, is that?
on the world scale.
Really?
Is what you're in the 1%, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it's real. So, I'm not.
Really?
So, no.
Book 2 more battles, you'll be there.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Book 35 more battles this year. you got that. This fan asked me, and I was gonna give a smart ass answer, but I think it's worthy of a answer.
Then I'll give a smart ass answer.
Right? They basically were like, I'm paraphrasing, but something along the lines of like, I'm getting into battling. Ask the source if it's worthwhile. All
Wow,
the
way-
traveling
Way to
and
mock this person.
oh yeah.
Wow.
I was like, well, my whole thing is I wanted
What a
I wanted
dick.
to answer
Yeah.
like,
Hey, I'm
if you
sorry.
gotta think that, if you
Whoever-
gotta ask that,
Yeah.
then probably
Dude,
not for you.
that's actually
you
a
know
val-
what I'm
that is
saying?
actually a
Like,
valid counterpoint.
anything anyone has to tell
If
you
you're
about
second
it,
guessing
then
it,
no,
yeah.
no. The answer is no. Don't get into it.
Yeah, for sure. I agree with that actually. If you're questioning whether or not even that element of it is for you, then it probably isn't. You know what I'm saying?
Now you made me feel bad.
Because
so
I
let me
remember.
bring it up.
Because I remember. I mean, you remember it too, having to travel somewhere a significant distance, come out of pocket for everything,
Yeah.
and run the
And
risk
gamble
run the
on-
risk of coming home with 0. You know
Yeah,
what I'm
will
saying?
I be part of the? Yeah, there's one person that gets paid at the end of it out of everyone.
And we were
that-
in that mindset of like, yes, this opportunity is worth it, and that's
Yeah.
how I knew that it was something. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's how you can be sure if it's worth it to you to do. And come out of pocket for entirely, then yeah. If you enjoy it with that much passion,
Yeah.
where you don't worry about like the like additional cost that comes with it.
Yeah, because
that
you're
shouldn't
not
mean
going to
anything.
get paid
Yeah.
until
You have to reach
you-
X level exactly.
And in order to do that, to get there, you
takes
have
a minute,
to just
yeah.
have that passion.
Yeah,
and
of course.
Like, I'm gonna do this
Yeah.
anyway. His my bad to be super mocky. His passion. This guy passion. A passion over paper on IG. He asked, what his hardest opponent was and how, and And I want to know if battling is worth the time I spend preparing, travel, stage, doing the show, etc. Finally, does it work? I'd like to know some insight on, is it easy work or battler, or is it a hard living like the rest of us?
Okay, here's the thing. It also...
Here's the
wow.
thing. Learn to put together a sentence. That's going to help you with battling.
It
first
also
and
it
foremost.
has a lot to do too with what your time situation is. If you have the free time to be able to dedicate it, which some people are more fortunate than others to be able to do. I don't know if I'm necessarily the best person to ask, because I'm not someone who like also works a 9 to 5. Like, yeah, I grind poker tournaments and shit, and it's working a job, but I don't work a 9 to 5. I set my own hours. My time that I'm able to put towards the craft, I am in 100% control of. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I'm very fortunate to be in that spot. But I think a better person to answer a question just like that is someone who like balances a job as well and is, you know what I'm saying? Also, like, say a full-time parent or something like that.
Yeah.
That's another thing to where, like, I see my daughter as often as humanly possible, but she does live with her mom, which allots me more time to also put towards the craft as well. You know, I'm in full control of the amount of free time that I can dedicate towards it. And for a long time, I've been lucky enough to be in that spot. So it's not, I don't know if I'm the best person to ask that. Hardest opponent, wow. You were one of them for sure because of the situation. But I don't think that was necessarily hard because we had time to prepare. Mm-hmm. When I think of what's hard, like the ether, preparing for the ether event was hard. You know what I'm saying? I wrote 3 rounds.
The hardest part for me was after.
Yeah.
was what happened with the footage and everything. But nah,
I wrote
I was
3
just
rounds
rolling
the
in
night
the dough.
before.
I got
That
paid,
was like
so.
that was like one of the hardest for me because I wrote 3 rounds the night before and was just kind of on some like, I'm battling Arsenal.
Talk about that
which
a little bit more,
this
too,
should
'cause
mean
that's-
more. I'm battling Arsenal. I mean, it was just the like behind the scenes fuckery. It was basically our contracts. I mean, whatever. I ended up being paid entirely, so I can't be mad.
Yeah.
And shout out to Lush for the intent of getting his folks more bread for one battle than most of us, I would assume, had ever gotten to
That's
that
the
point.
most I've
Or
gotten
still,
paid thus
same,
far
still,
for a
same,
battle,
yeah,
yeah.
same here. And there was just things in the contract that just weren't met. That one after another, I was like, this is gonna turn into a shit show. And it started with like being given the contract 6 weeks ahead of time, and it says like in writing in the contract within whatever 72 hours of signing the contract, deposit will be paid, which is half. You know what I'm saying? I do that. I wait like whatever it is, a week or something to get like the first less than 10%. You know what I'm saying? And I'm just like, yo, this isn't how things are supposed to go, but like, you're my folks, and I know you have the best intentions, as he always does, you know what I'm saying? I just knew there was obviously things going on beyond his control that, you know, he wouldn't let everyone know about, for obvious reasons, you know what I'm saying? And, you know, eventually I got paid, which is cool, but I basically wasn't, by the time I got to LA like 2 days early for the event, had still only gotten like 10% of the deposit. And I was just like, look, man, like, if I don't just get the deposit to this point, like, I'm just going to Charlie Clips this shit and freestyle 3 rounds is exactly what I said, you know what I'm saying? And he was just like, all right, it'll happen. And I got it. Boom. Just like that, you know? And then I get to LA and, like, I remember the contract also said, like, 4-star plus hotel. And then we get to this fucking...
So I got you a tent.
Get to the...
on
no,
the
but he
sidewalk.
wasn't in control of this. It was like the chick... it was one of the chicks, the film
like
on chicks.
Molly or
whatever
something
her,
like that. I
whatever her
remember
name
her.
was.
Yeah,
you know what
yeah,
I'm saying?
yeah.
And the one who had the thing with G Money or whatever it was in those episodes. You know what I'm saying? You know exactly who I'm talking about. Though. So I'd like call her and I'm just like, what the fuck is this like dump that you set us up in? You know what I'm saying? And she was like, okay, well, if you want to get another like hotel, go get it, and then Filmon will
Reimburse.
reimburse. And I'm like, so I need to come out of pocket more? I was like, no, it took me till today to get my deposit. So, like, I'm not doing that. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Meanwhile, we find out that other people on the card are staying at, you know what I'm saying? Fucking.
Yeah, conceited, just in the penthouse of the fucking.
People are in 5 stars and shit. And then, bruh.
On Paris Hilton, that's staying at the Luxor and taking Paris Hilton's jet.
Exactly. Yo. And I'm not mad at that for happening for them, but it's like, yo, do that across the board then.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I know, I mean, obviously, too, at the time, Khan was, he was approaching, like, stardom level. Not where he's at now, but he was, like, approaching that.
Yeah.
So he was a big ticket for
He
the card.
hadn't released his meme yet.
True. No,
he hadn't released his debut meme.
That hadn't gone 10x platinum.
Yeah, I've been working on something
10x
for months now.
Bruh, yo, that meme is in everything. It's in board games. It's in everything.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Does he make money off that somehow?
I would hope.
Probably
I don't know.
not.
I mean, there's a chance he doesn't, though.
Isn't that crazy though?
Yeah.
His fucking face.
His brand itself is pretty valuable, though. He's fucking
Yeah.
crushing it. I think, didn't he just get some new hosting gig for, they're like bringing back Singled Out, the show, the dating show to MTV, and he's hosting it with the
fire.
chick, like Justina Valentine or whatever, the other chick from Wild 'N Out. Singled Out with Jenny
Is
McCarthy.
that where they're behind the thing?
Jenny McCarthy and Chris Hardwick were the hosts, and it would be like.
That scumbag.
I feel like they like ask, it's like 50 dudes and one girl or something like that. She like asks a question, and based on the answer, like whatever people answer one way are eliminated, then the remainder stay. It's something along those lines. Yeah. I don't know. It's some 90s shit. Damn, Avo, what'd you do, bruh?
What's your idea of a date, huh? Yo, I would love to see just with his height in, like, like there. That's like part of his contract.
That
He's
would
like,
be
I'll
amazing.
host, but
That
but
would be amazing.
But I got my entourage with me.
Eat 'em! That would be
Date 'em!
Shout out to Khan, bro.
I want to go through that because I posted on
He's
IG.
killing it these days.
Khan?
Jesus, bro.
He don't want that smoke, that rematch.
Of course he doesn't. Why would he? I mean, I'm sure if they were like, yo, we got,
So you got a podcast, a shitty podcast that I'm on.
30 racks, we could, it'd probably be, he would probably do it for the right amount.
Yeah.
But would you do it? But would you do it for a tenth of what he did it for?
Depends on what he's getting.
Yeah, valid.
I don't worry. That's one thing I never thought about when discussing payment. I'm like, I don't care what that person, because it would be a usual. So and so's only getting this much. Like, I'm like,
I don't care.
I don't care if someone's getting 10 times
their
what I'm
value
getting,
doesn't reflect mine.
I'm like, I'm telling you my value right
exactly.
now. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I'll do it for.
100%
I don't care if Lux is getting $40K or Real Deal's getting $200 to battle me.
You're a dick.
I'm just chilling, but no.
Cold.
But it doesn't matter to me. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, I want what I want and negotiate by those standards.
Yeah,
not
of course. That's how it should be.
Anyone else's.
That's how it should be.
What do you think of Mills K. Shine?
We were talking about it before you got here. I'm excited that Avo gets to film it for one. That's fire that Avo gets to film
you are
Jay Mills
filming.
battle.
Let's go.
That's lit. And I hope he does well. It seems like I watched a bit of the interview or like the face off.
I haven't seen the face off.
It's pretty entertaining.
Really?
And he's definitely been like paying close attention to things that are going on. A lot of his like just counterpoints to sort of like clown and punk K-Shine too are just so funny. Just on some like Shine, just like, you ain't done battle with 3-minute rounds. He's like, my battle with Ness was 7 rounds. Like it's just constant one-uppage. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
you wouldn't be top of the card if it wasn't for me. And Shine's like, what are you talking about? And he's like, last battle, your battle was like 3rd. Event before that, your battle was like 3rd or 4th. He's like, you ain't never been the top of the card. You ain't never been the last battle. You ain't never been the main event. Yeah. And Shine's just like, the only time that's happened is like because I've let it happen. He's like, nah, that ain't because. yeah. Oh, bro.
That's hilarious.
It's entertaining. I just hope he does well in the battle.
I seen the
'Cause
little
I think
picture with
that-
like him and Geechee running bars.
Yeah.
Or whatever.
I think that.
When is that? Is that this weekend? Saturday?
Shine,
That's okay. That's okay.
Shine's kind of like in his bag these
Shine-
his last couple of performances. I'm not even like a huge fan of his, but I can't deny how well he's done. Like the Av battle was hella crazy. Who did he battle just before that too?
Hey, man.
Oh, he battled.
no.
He battled some. I know he battled Danny, but that was a while
Enes.
ago.
That
Oh,
was
Enes. He battled Enes.
Damn, I
yeah.
haven't seen that one.
Yeah.
One of my I mean, it's old now. It's like a couple years old, I think, at this point. But I always loved his performance versus JC. Man, that shit was
for sure.
crazy to me.
His energy and performance alone is insane.
Yeah,
It's really fucking good.
yeah, him and Danny was an intense because they're both and they had the.
There's
bad
like the
blood,
genuine dislike.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah.
And even what Danny said afterwards, he's like, afterwards, we shook hands and said, I still don't fuck with you. That is hilarious. Good battle. I still don't fuck with you. That's,
Is hilarious. Yo, what do you think is the next thing?
That's
with
fire.
Well, because I was thinking about this, like, I feel like there could be something done with battle rap that's still just, the event and everything, but like with just one added element. Like I know we had Total Slaughter and that kind of flop, but like something to where we could pitch it to Netflix.
next
You know what I
evolutionary
mean? Like
step.
there's something.
There
You know
has
what I
to-
mean?
yeah.
Look at like how well stand-up's doing now on Netflix, and just in general, stand-up is like at an all-time high.
Yeah.
But there's something that can be done, I think. I don't know what it is, but to where it could add another interesting, unique element. One of the fans said something about there's like a increase of like on beat written battles going on like in the UK or
That's
some
kinda
shit.
tight.
Yeah, I know there's been a few like who did the one? Was it like Enes and Arsenal or something like that? Did that one
They
back
did an
in a
on-beat
few
battle?
years ago?
Really?
Arsenal and somebody did one a few years back, but
I know the UK does those grime clash battles as well, where it's where those are over beats.
what do you think of that?
And
like,
they're
I don't know
entertaining to
how-
watch. I mean,
Well, have you? They just said maybe they're talking about the grime clash, but they
That's
made it sound
probably
like
what it
there's
is.
like actual battles.
It
going
seems
on
like kind of a
beat.
cool concept. It's going to be harder for some people to do. Definitely, it's. I think it's good from a preparation standpoint because people are going to have to prepare a lot more thoroughly because overbeat you have to plan your breathing and
And even crowd reaction, you can't be
every
like
step of it. Well, in the grime
big
clashes,
pub.
basically the way from what I've seen in the Don't Flop grime clashes, the way they win is
by saying man's
No.
them team.
man's tempting. No, but like whenever they run their shit and the crowd goes too crazy, so they have to run the beat back. It's basically whoever can get
The most
run
run
backs. Yeah, that's basically
Damn.
Dialect crushes those things. That's like what he's like born to do.
Right.
He's such a just like natural
beat him that
rapper.
one time.
Yo, that was actually crazy. The
Yeah.
where Bamalam beat him.
Yeah.
Bamalam killed that. Shout out to Bamalam. He's crushing it on the Unilad shit.
What should I say to Soul?
Wow. Good question.
No, I'm just but that event's looking crazy though. That card.
Yeah.
Who else is on there?
P versus
yeah.
Koj. That's gonna be entertaining. Koj is a flat earther.
Los, really?
Yeah, you and him will have a good time.
Yeah, he is like a legit flat earther.
Like,
He
big
made-
time.
Made a video about it.
Oh, like no, I want to say like his dad is like one of the like forefathers of the theory or something along those lines. Like his dad's a professor who or some I don't know. It's definitely it's a generational thing. Like yeah. Apparently you can teach stupid.
Apparently, stupid is hereditary.
You know what I'm saying?
Dialects battling Loso.
That's pretty tight.
Yeah.
Chris Lee's Mike.
Oh, Chris Lee's and Caustic.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
interesting.
Big Cannon and Rivers.
Ooh, I haven't.
I don't know who Rivers.
Yo, he's
I
like
haven't
one of their
seen.
new, like, up and coming dudes who apparently is supposed to be really good. I know he had a battle that the UK was going apeshit over in anger, he battled Yunnan, who is whatever a polarizing figure over there, and
their disaster.
Yeah, kind of. And he did one of those like premier battles. It was Rivers versus Yunnan, and I guess the judges gave it to Yunnan, but apparently people threw a fit about that, and they think that Rivers is like whatever the second coming.
Wait, the UK got a judged battle decision wrong?
Who would have guessed?
Yeah, I thought that was their thing.
Yeah.
We call it soccer. You are terrible at judging battles. It's kind of the trade. It's kind of the trade-off.
I don't know, and I mean I can.
And then his
I can kind of see why Harry thought that Yunnan won too.
And then it's a surprise battle with O'Shea versus
That'll
somebody.
be fire no matter what.
Yeah.
It's O'Shea against who? I don't care who it is. It's gonna be entertaining.
Right.
O'Shea is so fucking hilarious.
The O'Shea is so good, man.
He's just like,
Your guys' battle is hilarious.
it's so fun. Like,
Yeah.
just battling him in general is just like, you know, it's gonna be a good time. Like I don't have to be like, fuck, I need to remember every single step. Like it's just like I'm just gonna stand here and laugh and have fun, and then I'm gonna go through my shit and have fun. And he's like, there's no feel of like nerves or anything like that. It's not like, man, I need this bar to hit this way in this spot. It's like, dude, it's fucking O'Shea, man. I want to hear the hilarious things he has to say. Then I want to say some funny shit too. And then afterwards, we're just gonna go hit the bar. He's definitely gonna black out by the end of that. You know what I'm saying? Pretty sure he did.
Yeah.
Pretty sure he did.
I don't doubt it.
Shout out to Rap is Full Battle League in Dublin, Ireland. That's where we battled. It was dope. It was super dope.
That's tight.
Shout out to Rap is Full.
I think I'm going to Dublin on this trip for a show. And it might be
lit.
It might be with them.
Yo.
I know I think it's at a battle event, but
That's tight if it is with them. Oh, they're all hella chill too.
Yeah.
The night I got into Dublin, like one of the main, like probably I would say maybe their best battler. His name's Podge Dwyer. He was like, yo, man, like, let's go to the Guinness factory and fucking, like, my first night in the city, he's like, let's link up and go to the Guinness factory. We just went down there, like, got to pour my own fresh Guinness. It was the best tasting beer I've ever had in my entire life.
That's sick.
Then they have, like, a rooftop bar overlooking the entire city, like, 360 degrees. It was fucking ill.
I know they got the Jameson joint out there. I don't know if it's in Dublin,
Jameson factory?
but I know it's in...
Yeah, it's in Ireland, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's in Dublin either. You should definitely...
You can get, like, them personalized bottles, like the homie Gold. Yeah,
Word,
you know,
yeah.
Gold's got one. It says Goldini Bagwell on it and shit. Yeah, I think Spark got it for him because Spark went out there.
Spark's been traveling a ton.
Spark lives in Hawaii, man.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh shit, I didn't know that. That's fire. Yo, he's so nomadic.
He didn't
was
even
in
know
Japan
nobody
recently,
out
right?
there. He just dipped out there. He's like, I'm just gonna move out to the volcano. On the outside of a volcano. You're tripping. He's like, yeah, just drive Lyft and
He's so fire.
like farm avocados or something.
Yo, what a boss.
Yeah.
Spark, that's one of the most low-key hilarious humans of all time.
Yeah,
Like
just hella
super
dry
subtle.
humor. Yeah.
Super dry and subtle.
I want to get to some of these questions because I liked a couple of them that were good. Oh, someone asked about the next mainstream battle crossover. But what do you think?
Like,
you know,
the next
Joe Budden versus Sai the
Wi-Fi
Prince.
the Prince.
Yeah. No one wants to see that.
I don't care
battle,
about
by
that.
the
I don't
way,
care to
yeah.
see Joe Budden battle again, personally.
No.
You know what I'm saying? I enjoy
I don't care to
Budden's...
see any of them, honestly.
I enjoy
like,
Budden's podcast. There's not... I can't think of a single artist that I would enjoy because I don't think any of them would take it seriously enough for it to like move me to a point of where I'd be like, man, that's what we've been waiting
people
for
might
from
hate
these
on
guys.
this, but
You know
like
what
the
I'm
only
saying?
two I could really see being good at it off top is M. I think could
It's
kill,
possible.
and Drake.
Yeah.
I think, but you know, I know people are like,
Drake-
what he's saying.
Drake
You're
was
soft,
literally...
you're
Drake
gay."
was this close to happening, which
Right.
is crazy.
Yeah.
Literally that
Yeah, that
close.
was Blackout 4?
Five?
5?
Yeah, it was
Yeah,
Blackout 5 because
yeah.
I battled J-Pro.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah, the last minute
Actually,
step in.
that never happened, yeah.
Nice. What do you mean?
Well, all of J-Pro's battles have been removed from offline because of his job or whatever it is.
What?
Yeah. There's a few people who have done that, though. I'm not
Oh
even-
yeah, didn't like Amy Miller or whatever
I'm not
get some
mad at it.
battles removed
Yeah,
or
he's
something?
gonna get us.
Yep, she did.
Yeah, no,
Wow. I
I
remember
tried to
that,
put
too.
it up on fucking Ruder Day and it got flagged.
What? Damn. Yeah, I had some bars against J Pro with that. I replaced Rich Dollars on like 1 day's notice.
That's right.
And Jason killed it too.
Yeah, he was dope, man. He was hella dope, and we both like ended up freestyling a bunch too. That shit was fun.
Do you have any battlers on your radar?
I'm battling Remy D 1 month from today at Battle of the Zay.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
I totally forgot about
That'll
that.
be pretty fire.
I was on the Dirtbag Dan show and they announced that.
That'll be pretty fire.
That's super fire.
Yeah, he's so dope, man.
So you'll probably start riding in like 29 days.
Actually, no, I actually started a little ahead of time.
Nice.
Because there's this like other opportunity that might happen in the middle of the month that is like pretty close to 100%. That's just I don't know. I'm sure King of the Dot will probably prefer announcing it. Organic will prefer announcing it. You know what I'm saying? But some opportunity
Decade announcement?
No, not and there's also Decade though, which is shortly after that. So if I do a Decade battle, I want to have as much out of the way for Remy because they're like 10 days apart.
Yeah.
So I want to have as much out of the way for Remy as possible.
Yeah.
So that I have that full 10 days to write for Decade. No, I mean. For Decade though, it's definitely going to depend. Like, I don't want to like force a matchup just for the. I mean, I want to be on the card. Absolutely, I think it makes all the sense in the world to be on it.
Has there been a location announced for it?
I know it's Toronto.
Toronto.
No, not yet. It hasn't been announced, but
Oh, really? Oh, okay. Word. Well, I thought.
yeah,
I
we can all assume.
I was under the impression that it was
Yeah.
always going to be up there. I mean, it makes the most sense. It's their
Decade.
it's their Decade.
Yeah.
I just I don't want. I think if I do a battle there, it should have some. It should at least make sense to a degree. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? But
Paul Rich.
But I say.
That's history.
But I said, and Solomon didn't want to do it up there either. But I said that since that's probably me and Solomon is because that's the one most people want to see up there.
Right.
But I feel like for me, that's probably the
Don't do that in Toronto.
No, yeah, that's like the biggest battle I think I probably have left, at least right now, on
Right.
any list or whatever there might be.
Yeah.
And I want more control of it, like of the setting than.
I feel like that would be the most open-ended in like Cali. And as much as that's like not neutral, I just feel like
the first one
there's
wasn't
gonna
neutral. Why
be-
should the rematch be?
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, exactly.
The first one was far from neutral. Not only was it in NY, I was ambushed after getting jerked in a tournament. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Yeah, Aaron. No.
Damn, you lost to 2 superior rappers in that night.
That's crazy.
You got jerked against.
No, I didn't battle Quest McCody that night.
Yeah, that was. When that came out though, I remember. I'm like, damn, this is a lot closer than
It
should
felt.
be.
Yeah. Oh,
you know?
absolutely.
Yeah.
I remember
So
hearing
that's
his
the-
because I remember when he started his first round, I was just like, "Oh, this sucks." Like, this is clearly this is why he didn't. This is why he bowed out of Spin the Mic for whatever his reasons were. You know what I'm saying? Because first he was supposed to be on Spin the Mic.
Well, I think he's like said, I don't know, on social or interviews, like that ain't what it was. Like I wasn't gonna battle, and then I was like, oh well, fuck it, he is here. Like yeah, let's do it.
Or
we use logic.
Or were you advertised as part of the Spin the Mic lineup, and then
Was he?
Yeah. Oh yeah. 100%.
Damn, I didn't
And then
remember that.
day of, we find out that he's been replaced and isn't doing it.
And is there?
And told me that the reason was, and I'm not lying about this, and it's all good. Aaron's my dude. I'm not.
Hey,
it's,
shout out
like-
to he actually
yeah.
sent me this book.
Word?
Fucking
Dope.
David and Goliath.
Yo,
by
Aaron's the
Malcolm
fucking
Gladwell.
man, straight
Yeah.
up. But this, I mean, whatever. This is a long ass time ago, so it doesn't matter. But he did straight up say, he's like, yeah, I pulled out from doing this event because Jump Off did a different type of event. Like maybe it was in the UK. He's like, and it was like some like borderline racist shit that I didn't agree with. Is what he said. He was like, it was like they had something like. They had like a chicken eating contest or something along those. It was like a fried chicken eating contest or something, and it was at a UK event, I believe. And Iron was like, "Yo, I'm not trying to fuck with that." You know what I'm saying? So that was the reason that I was told that he like withdrew from
He's like, so
the
let's
Spin the Mic
battle
card.
on the same
So when I was told
format
that, I'm just
outside.
like, "Oh, cool." So you're just here as a spectator just to watch the event though. That's cool that you showed up to like support the homies. You know what I'm saying? And then
He's like, I'm
and
still
then-
from winning
Yeah.
the chicken eating contest.
How long?
So, anyways, after I convinced him not to put that footage out of me winning the chicken eating contest, I wrote these 3 rounds for you.
When did you agree to battle him?
After I lost to Ill, and then not even immediately after I lost to Ill though, because then there was like the fight that broke out after the Quest
With
Makody
Maniac
battle
Squad
with
and
Maniac
shit?
Squad, because the Quest Makody shit happened because someone talked about proof, and Quest is that's probably maybe the biggest savage thing I think I've seen at an event, because that's 100% solo. Giving 0 fucks. He was ready, bro.
Yeah.
Shout out to Quest, man. He did.
I was just
not
chilling with him for
care.
a couple tour dates with Slumville.
Oh,
and
tight.
linked in Detroit, and then he did a couple dates after that,
Dope.
like Cleveland or Columbus.
Quest is the man, bro.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
Marv. Shout out to both of them.
Yeah, definitely.
Legends, straight up. But yeah, so then the venue is like being shut down. We're being kicked out.
Mm-hmm.
As I'm walking outside, Iron like comes up to me and is just like, "Yo, like, I don't know."
Billy Boondocks
He was
you.
just-
I didn't even connect the dots. I didn't connect the dots.
Yeah, Iron's actually Billy Pistols in the movie body. No, so he came up and was just like, "Yo," he's like, "I don't know if you're with it or not, but like, Jump Off asked me." He was like, "Harry and them asked me if me and you would do like a street battle for them, like since they have us both out here." You know what I'm saying? And I was like, "Word, like let's like go get a blunt wrap and smoke one, and then do this or whatever." So we just straight up like walked to the bodega, got a wrap, like spun one up, chiefed it on the way back to like the front of the venue, and then we watched you and Quest and you and What's His Face battle, and then we battled. Just
That's
like that.
crazy, man.
Yeah, it was a trip.
That is crazy.
And then I heard his round, and I was like, I heard his first round. I'm like, so this is why you bowed out of the freestyle contest, hey, buddy?
Solomon's been on a tear since he's been
crushing,
back,
bro.
man.
He's incredible.
Yeah,
he's
great.
incredible.
He's in great
Honestly,
form.
was not heavily impressed. I mean, the energy was weird to begin with, and I know it like immediately followed Mook and Verb, but his material to me against Big K was probably his weakest of his like return battles. And the energy felt like a little weird, but that's just probably a product more of the building.
Coming
But I like,
after, yeah.
I mean, of course, because of, I guess, whatever, like the stumbles that K had, people hella undersold what he actually did have, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I liked-
Which
I liked-
I enjoyed K's material a lot.
Yeah, I
for
liked
sure.
K's material in that. From what I remember, I watched the live stream, and from what I remember, I liked his material, but Solomon was just more consistent or something like
For
that.
sure.
But yeah,
But
he's
other-
been on a tear.
It's incredible,
yeah,
bro.
yeah.
The shit. I mean, even like I definitely feel like you like clearly beat him, but his material against, but his material
I
against
wasn't gonna
you,
say that,
his
but,
material. It's hella
I
funny.
think it's pretty.
When I was streaming on Twitch
undeniable.
last night, someone in the chat's like, "Who do you think's gonna win, Ilmac or Soul?" And I was like, "Come on, man! Like, I was like, you don't ask me questions like that. Like, I'm always gonna give the same answer." When a question is presented to me this way, I was like, the answer is always Ilmac, and then then the delay catches up, so he sees me answer it on the stream, and 5 minutes later in the chat, he's like, "What about if Ilmac battled Hollow?" I'm like, "What would change to me, bro?" That's what I was just like, no. I was like, don't get me wrong, Hollow can still be like the GOAT, absolutely, but to me, it like the answer doesn't change. I was like, it doesn't
Hollow's the
matter who
GOAT
you
to
say.
me.
Yeah.
And yeah, but obviously, if the battle were to happen,
Yeah.
I wouldn't take it unless I knew I was gonna win. You know what I mean?
You'd have to like
Yeah.
brainstorm forever and be like, what can I do? What?
Yeah, people forget I haven't lost since Arsenal. You know what I mean? So, so that's 6 years undefeated. So,
Facts.
what more do you want?
The Rebel never lost.
Yeah, no, Solomon's been on a tear though. Fucking when I was at what event? When he battled Daylight, that was the same event I battled Pat at.
Yep.
We were hella chopping it up like prior and shit, and just like on some deep societal, philosophical shit. And this is actually when he told me about this book, David and Goliath or whatever, and we exchanged numbers and we'd chop it up, and then he
That was
ended
his
up
return
sending
battle, right?
it to me. Yeah, Daylight, at World Dom
Yeah, it was World Dom.
6 or 5. I forget. Whichever one me and Pat battled at. So I think Soul Bender.
Me and Definition.
Yeah. But anyways, yeah, smart dude. Fucking legend. Fool's been
It's
killing
crazy
it.
because that was just for his return.
Him and Nitty was crazy.
He battled, like, I want to say his second battle was B Magic, if I'm not mistaken. No, it wasn't.
No, it was Diz, I think.
Diz was Iron's second battle. Like, oh yeah, it was, wasn't it? Like,
Yeah, right?
Because I just remember.
Or was it?
The growth between.
I think it was.
Because just like the jump just from the Daylight battle to his second battle, it was insane. Because he was good in the Daylight battle. He's really good, you know what I'm saying? But there was like.
Maybe it was.
There
man.
was like
I
a
can't remember.
clear evolution. Like to his second battle, he just like got definitively better from one really good performance to the next. That shit is scary, bro.
Yeah, he went from what fucking Daylight, and this ain't in order because I might fuck it up. But Daylight, Diz, Magic, Clips.
Yeah, Arsenal.
Maybe Magic was second. I think you might be right.
It's possible.
Either way, those were the first 3: Daylight, Diz, Magic, Clips,
Arsenal,
Ars, me.
Chilla, Nitty,
Chilla. Where'd he battle Chilla
in Boston this year. It was crazy. Same event that I battled Ines.
Oh, yeah.
That's another insane performance.
Yeah.
Holy shit. His performance against Nitty, though, that was where I was like, oh, dude, this guy.
He went off.
He might be, like, you know.
He's a beast, man.
Yo.
Yeah, you seen him. I want to see.
Because I thought that was going to be a
rematch for you guys
problem
would be
matchup
monumental.
for him. I thought that was going to be a problem for him because there's a lot of builds and arcs in his writing, and Nitty builds and arcs, but he's punching while he's doing it.
While he's building, it's punching. Yeah.
Nitty to me, like he's the best writer in the URL. It's not like I don't even think it's close, really. Him and Iron, basically. You know what I'm saying? It's like. Pretty much who it is. Nitty shit is so good and so technically sound. His second round against DNA is like maybe my favorite battle round. It's so fucking good.
I'm having trouble remembering where that were. Like remembering.
It was in LA.
Oh, the smaller room. Was that at Traffic?
Traffic 3.
Yeah, was that where B-Dot battled Emerson? Yeah, I vaguely remember that.
He talked about like how B Magic beat DNA, and he says something. He's like, damn. He's like, Jerry hella killed Eric, right?
Wow.
What? Bruh. Yo. Jerry, like I mean.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Oh, it's amazing. Absolutely amazing.
What are some of these other ones? Oh, Frack asked, how much is the shit worth in Middle Earth?
I don't know, young Frodo. What are you bidding?
Still got it.
You know what I'm saying?
Frack also asked.
Young Elijah Fracknoy.
Frack asked, what's your ideal retirement from battle rap? Would it be to start a league or maybe a channel talking about it? I'm assuming he's going on the prerequisite that you want to be involved with it.
Yeah, I think that, and that's probably that. I think that some sort of transition like that probably makes sense because I feel like regardless of when I get over actually battling myself, I'll probably still want to at least be involved and like as actively as I can.
Yeah.
Whether it's via discussion or blogs or whatever it is, I definitely wouldn't start a league. I don't want that type of responsibility. There would be a chance, like, whatever, if the right situation presented itself, I would consider investing in a league or something. Like, if like I won the fucking World Series of Poker or something like that, like, I would invest. I would help you is what I would do. I would invest in RYD. I would invest in RYD and help it expand. You know what I'm saying? Whatever ideas you would have for expansion that's what I would want to help with. You know what I'm saying? Like I would want to work with people that I feel are on the same page, of course. And I definitely don't want. I don't ever want the responsibility of controlling events and or battlers and or being responsible for people being at X place at this time other than like myself and the people that I'm going there with, you know what I'm saying? I'm not trying to be responsible
have to corral
for
a bunch of
30
cats.
other people. I already know, I've told Gannick so many times, like I'm aware it's probably the most thankless job in the entire world. Like and the amount of responsibility that they have for these things that they really don't get the thanks they deserve for. You know what I'm saying?
Then the cameraman gets all the glory.
I know, yeah. Goddamn camera guy. I know that I couldn't handle the headaches that that league owners have to put up with.
Fuck that. Yeah, I think there's room for just some other not a league, but some interesting other little twist on it. Have you ever do you watch or have you heard of Kill Tony?
No.
Tony Hinchcliffe, the comedian.
I know Tony Hinchcliffe.
He's got a live podcast he does at the Comedy Store, where, and I don't know how this would tie into battle rap, but just to it's a creative format. Yeah. But it's basically, so he's a stand-up, and he'll have guest stand-up comedians on this panel, and they'll have a table, and it's live at the Comedy Room, at the Comedy Store, and there'll be a live audience, and people sign up, and they come up and do a minute's worth of material. They got the panel right there on stage, basically, and then he'll give feedback and ask questions.
That's
sometimes
tight.
they'll roast
them.
It kind of depends on the energy.
Of course,
there's been people who are bomb, but they're hella nice, and he'll just ask about them, how they got into comedy, how long, and it's all kind of live or whatever.
That's
but
dope.
With the audience, I don't know how you could relate that to
something
battle rap, but it's something. Yeah, it's something that was interesting as far as a different sort of format. I feel like there's room for little offshoots like that.
And you kind of want to
rap.
create that connection from audience to performer as well. You want there to be more relatable elements. That's what
and he's took it on the road too.
Yeah, that's
and took some of his some of the people who put better material together, he'd have on as a regular to come out and do a 5-minute set or whatever in between sort of all these rookies essentially, and he took he took a bunch of them, some of the best of them out on the road in a big van and shit.
That's tight.
And it's that's them getting put on for the most part.
Yeah, getting to start to live their actual dream, basically.
It's actually hilarious. I think you'd like it. You should watch it.
For sure, I will.
You can watch it on YouTube. But yeah, Kill Tony. It's hilarious.
Yeah, I'll peep it for sure.
Yeah.
I would prefer doing something along those lines as opposed to being in charge of where people have to be at particular times.
Exactly. I could definitely see you. Speaking of, I asked this with Hollow, but I know for a fact, just back in the day, I remember us talking about comedy. Yeah, was that something that you...
No, it's so goddamn hard. I would consider trying it, maybe.
I think you'd be great at it.
Yeah, it's just a matter of, figuring out... how to present, whether it's gonna
I'd love to see you on Kill Tony. Go up and drop a minute.
Whether it's going to be stories or what, that's what you really have to figure out what kind of comedian,
Was it Mitzi? Because I will listen to all the comedians' podcasts like Rogan and Theo Vaughn and Duncan Trussell and Joey Diaz and shit. And one thing I've heard him say a lot, Mitzi, the owner or whatever, the Comedy Store. I don't know if that's who she... Anyways, they talk about her like a guru, essentially, of comedy. Yeah. And they're like, be yourself 100%. Because if you're not, you might fool someone for one set, but you can't
not
keep
consistently,
that up.
Of course not.
You need to put you into the comedy and really run that.
And figure out your style of joke.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because there's some comics you see their style is so definitive and
a
Jeselnik, exactly. It's just curveball after curveball, but they're great. A lot of very dark material too, but a ton of curveballs, and he sets you up one way, and then
where you all know, after a couple. If you've never seen him, after a few minutes, you're like, all right, that's the obvious thing. Where is it gonna go?
Exactly. And some of them you're like, oh my god, he actually did that. It's bro. His second album, he's just his regular self the entire time, and he's like, I know what you guys are thinking. You're probably getting bored with me by now, wondering, Anthony, where are your showstoppers? And he's like, here they are. I'm gonna tell you a series of jokes that are gonna get progressively more offensive. And they do, you know what I'm saying? But every single one of them, curveball too, bro.
He's all, if you like amazing. That rape joke, You're gonna
lucky
love
day.
this one.
Lucky day. You're gonna love it. If you like that AIDS joke, he does that in one of them. He's like, if you like that AIDS joke, lucky day, you are gonna love this next AIDS joke. And then he tells 2 AIDS jokes in a row. He goes, you guys can probably notice a theme developing here. These are all great jokes. So good, bro.
That's great.
Oh, man.
Yeah, I think, put together a minute. But that's another thing, right? You play poker, you battle, you got all these other things, and that's something that you don't want to half-ass.
Oh, absolutely
because it's something I'm
not.
super interested in, but it's like, let me get, like, decent at some point at a podcast, hosting a podcast, and at some point I'll get there. And
eventually.
then, it's like music and battles and the cartoon, but it's like I'm super interested, but I don't want to half-ass it or do it then.
You can't.
Injustice of not putting the work in.
You have, especially something as hard as comedy.
Right, it's a whole different timing. It's
really
like the difference
is.
of a battle rap and when like a Budden or those artists come in, it's a whole different timing that's hard to grasp until you're in it. And that's how I kind of anticipate stand-up being,
Did you see Shuffle T versus Jazz the Rapper?
No.
It's kind of like that.
No.
Like it's a set. The setting was awkward for what they were trying to do. So they at first you could sort of see them. They're trying to refine their footing.
Right.
Especially Shuffle. You could tell like his energy is off and he's the most uncomfortable. Like I've seen him in a battle, and it's like the audience definitely was different than he expected and not as reactive for his material compared to Jazz as he expected for sure. And it was like noticeable. Yeah. And I feel like comedy, it's a similar thing. Like it's completely different audience that you're not in your element when you get up there. You have to be good at feeling out the audience to begin with, sort of gauging what kind of stuff they are receptive to and what kind of stuff they're straying away from. Yeah. If you're going to do a minute, you have to have enough material to sort of cut and paste, which we would be good at, like in that, for sure.
Well, but yeah.
You have to have enough material to where you some of it might not fly, so it has to be replaced with like a minute set. You should probably have 5 to 7 ready, and then start with like what you think is good, and then you have to be able to feel out and gauge it from there. It's so fucking hard, and you're expected to make them laugh. That's the hardest part, you know?
Yeah, they're like, okay,
with a battle,
what do you got?
The battle, the expectation is just you execute your material. Mm-hmm. Other than like reactions, anything aside from that, laughs, it's all a bonus. Like we hope for that, we write with the intention of that, but like the audience is coming there just to see us like execute, and they want to be entertained, but it's like there's not the expectation level like there is going to see a comedian. Like, oh, I'm about to laugh so hard, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You're just like, I like rap. I'm gonna go see some dope rappers. You know?
Yeah, exactly. I've only been to the Comedy Store once, but it was tight because there's like a headliner or something, or 2 or whatever, maybe 3 announced ahead of time, and then it's like they just run through 15, and progressively longer sets, 20 minutes, but there'll be like 20 comics on one night, Yeah. And it's like seeing a bunch of people you didn't expect, so there's no expectation, and seeing the development, dope. Because there'll be, there's difference, right? You can go up and just tell a joke, and it's kind of a generic way of approaching comedy, right? Where some of my favorite comics I've seen, I'm always blank. I'm terrible with names. But bro's like literally just up there establishing his personality and his way of telling a story. And it's like, okay, you're drawing me in just by your demeanor. Yeah. And he's talking about like buying a banana and hating it being brewed and feeling like he's overcharged for the banana. And there's no like hella punchlines, but just him telling this story and establishing this is who he is, his look and everything. It was hilarious. It's like my favorite
and
of the
night.
night.
It's not a punchline comic. That's what I mean by you have to figure out your style of joke, like whether or not you can like, I mean, a lot of it is like first person narrative and whatnot, but then it's how do you find the joke in the story and then present it as the funny part of the story, you know what I'm saying? Because there's so many different ways you can do it. You have to like figure out the most authentic to self way, basically, whatever feels the most natural, because then it's going to come off that way.
What would you do? You probably haven't put much thought into what's if you think about it, what rough format would be your comfort zone off top?
I want to do one of like the roast battles, comedy battles.
See
for
that?
sure.
Yeah, that.
I would
I think that's
destroy
like
those.
one step closer to our sort of lane.
I
You
would
know what I mean?
destroy
Because
those.
it's set up
MODOK, like,
punch, set up punch.
Whatever those things that MODOK like sets up. I think it's like
Yeah.
almost every month that he does that. What's at the Laugh Factory or something?
I think it is the comedy
Psychosis.
store, right?
It's at the Comedy Store, yeah. And he gets like battlers up against comedians. And,
Just roast
and
them.
roast battle. I will obliterate.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, rebuttal game
That's
too.
your
is like
that's your forte, and I don't have to rhyme it.
Yeah. Oh, exactly. I don't even have to rhyme. I
Yeah.
can just say whatever comes to my mind.
Yeah.
All right, let's
You've
do
had
that.
the infamous back and forth like online on Twitter and how quick like you killing Quest.
Yeah,
I
that
remember.
one on
you
Angry
and
Fan.
Bollock.
The
Tons
Quest
of
one is
fans.
infamous. My favorite part about the Quest one is like every time I like come back with something instantly, you like faintly in the background hear Caps, and he's like, God damn. It's so
Yeah,
tight.
yeah.
It is
On
so
the Angry
good.
Fish, yeah.
Oh, and then like Marv was messaging me while that's going on. He's like, for the love of God, Pete.
Let him look. Yeah, you can't.
He's like, I hate you so much. For the love of God, just stop.
So good.
Oh, I had a blast.
yeah,
That
I
would
was listening to
definitely
that and I was
be
just
like,
oh my.
that would be the most comfortable for sure.
Yeah,
Like,
it's
no
like
question.
it's like one step towards comedy, but in the middle ground.
It's
of
battle.
like
It's
what
like
where our
it's
comfort
absolutely
zone
the middle
is.
ground.
Yeah.
And from what I've heard, like the comedians are pretty territorial when it comes to the battle rappers being involved. Because I know Sharon did a couple of them, and I know like
I've seen one with Sharon.
Dan has done a couple of them.
Psychos did
Co-
one.
Oh, Psychosis did one?
Yeah,
I did-
recently.
Oh, really? I didn't see it.
He's double
I know-
timing his jokes.
They're like, are you the Micro Machines guy, or are you saying punchlines?
Oh my god. Crazy reference.
Yo, I know Caustic's done a few. I think he makes perfect sense for it.
Yeah.
I feel like Tony would kill.
Oh yeah.
Tony would be like undefeated roast
He's
champion.
like the Joey Diaz of battle rap.
He's so
you know what I
hilarious.
mean?
Yeah,
like
straight
that
up.
like energy of
He's
just I don't
so
give a
hilarious.
fuck.
Tony's the
and
most like
authenticity.
naturally funny battler for sure.
Yeah.
Him and O'Shea are
Yeah,
like
I
the
think-
most naturally funny human
I
beings.
think Shuffle and Marlo would be amazing.
Absolutely, I
too.
agree.
You seen
But,
Raptor?
but
and
I also think that takes like a level. Like I feel like Shuffle for a roast battle would probably need the right crowd. You know what I'm saying? He would need it. Couldn't just be like an out
like people who understood British.
or just people who read. You know what I'm saying?
I don't know. I think they do great.
Him versus Raptor
You seen
is
him
incredible.
So good.
It's so
when he's
funny.
purposely mispronouncing all the
Bro.
words, he's like, he's all shoemaker.
Spoon saver.
A screwn saver.
Spoon saver.
He's like correct me. He's like,
Yo, the shit about like
So
the
good.
teachers sending him home from school, like because what he like bit someone in the face or something. I forget what it, or he's because he stabbed him. Oh yeah, because he stabbed another student.
a
or
whole
whatever.
round of being on the phone.
Yeah. Oh, that was so good.
And then ending it essentially with like, all right, back to you.
Did you ever see? Did you ever see him versus Heretic?
Yeah, we watched that and watched it too.
Yeah, where he does the whole round where
He
he
doesn't.
he like runs into a fan, and the fan it's like it's a hypothetical conversation between him and the fan, and he's like, "Do you know when the new Heretic battle is?" And Shuffle's like, "Heretic, like what is that?" And it's he's explaining the fan describing Heretic back to him, and he's just like, "Oh, like Heretic, yeah, that's like that battle's like actually like a couple of seconds from happening. I might actually repeat this entire conversation verbatim when I eventually battle him or something. It's so
Yeah, and then
fucking
he's like,
good,
Are you
bro.
aware all this is rhyming?
Yeah, oh yeah. When he said, "Are you aware all this is rhyming, mate?" It's so good, bro. He is such a smart writer, man.
Yeah.
He really is. But for a roast, like I think it would probably take the right crowd. He could obviously roast someone like easily, for sure. It would be a more favorable setting for him in the UK though, I think, than like one of the LA Comedy Club roasts or whatever.
Yeah.
Because they're not. I mean, a lot of especially those like the comedy roast battles, like when we hear a lot of the jokes, we're like, yeah, but where's the like extra layer to it? You know what I'm saying? It's we're kind of like, oh, that's kind of simple.
It's like
okay.
It's pre-thesaurus battle rap before the extra.
Exactly.
It's like, oh, look
it's
like
idea.
Dave Chappelle on crack.
It's idea. You know what I'm saying?
It's
idea battling.
Yeah, it's where's the entendres?
It's me seeing idea battling. I'm being like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
I'm Weapon X, Wolverine. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But, I think there's a ton of battlers that would do well in it. I know Uno Lavos has tried to do a couple of them, too.
Yeah.
He always does the ones that MODOK does. He's, like, doing the comedy thing, though.
I could see that.
Yeah,
I could see that for sure. Carter's been killing it. I know he's, like,
Carter
done
is
multiple
definitely,
dates.
And he's definitely him. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He is his hilarious, likable, awkward self. Even his jokes are great too. I love it. I even the photo jokes that he like posts on Insta and shit.
Yeah.
He's hella funny.
Word plays.
Yeah, exactly.
That fool's hilarious. Yo, he's a deep thinking individual too.
He's
He had
great.
some spiritual conversations.
I was so happy that Kyle and him watched me versus QP because I know that he's like a huge QP fan to begin with, and just like watching him react to it's like my favorite thing ever, bro.
We watched me and him on there too.
Yeah?
Just not without him, just me.
Word?
Yeah, just me and like Ronnie. Well, now it's Drunk Red Hat.
Drunk Red Hat, hell yeah.
Me, Young Ken and
Shout out to Ronnie.
Huh?
Yak the Ripper.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, and Yak. Word.
Yeah. That's fire. Someone asked like a interesting, like if you've had any interesting like experiences like being recognized like in random places or something
Hell,
like that.
random it's happened so many strange places. A Build-A-Bear store with my daughter once.
What?
Yeah, she was like 7 or 8. We're in a Build-A-Bear store, and these 2 military dudes come in like full uniform, and I'm just like standing there, just like, yeah, pick out whatever you want, Tay, you know. And she's looking at her Build-A-Bear, and then like this guy behind me, who's like, you know, a few inches taller than me, they're both just like giant soldiers. Like, excuse me, man. Like, I'm sorry to bug you, but like, do you think we might be able to get a photo with you? And I'm just like, in the Build-A-Bear store? And they both like hella laugh. They're like,
we're
maybe.
big Saved by the Bell fans.
Like, dude, do you still talk to Jesse Spano? I was like, nah, man, it's all good. No, but yeah, we stepped outside of the store and like took a pic right up. Yeah, it was hella funny.
The Build-A-Bear.
Yeah, super random.
I mean, it's gotta happen at like poker, like
Poker all the
casinos and
time.
shit,
It
right?
there's so much of the poker community that follows the battle world in general. Like, I've become friends with players that I've looked up to for years and have found out that like the biggest names in the world watch. Like Danny Negreanu, who we were talking about earlier, who's probably like one of the most famous players in the world, period. Definitely the most famous Canadian player. But
Negreanu's incredible. I watched the hand where he called the player's hand and folded
He does it all the time.
nearly the nuts.
Oh, yeah,
like the
probably
second,
like a
and he's
small
like,
full
and he
house or
broke
something
down
stupid.
why he's got it and everything. It's like a clip on YouTube.
He
of
thinks
just like
out loud.
Negreanu,
His deductive
like, folds
reasoning.
down or
It's the best.
folds a fucking crazy. I can't remember.
He's
what his
really
title
good
is.
at hand raging and at like calling people's specific hands out for sure.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot, I mean, part of that, like, he is amazing at it. There's no question. Part of that is it's not as hard to do as it looks once you've played enough. It really is like he's guessing correctly in it's like one of 4 hands that it probably could be in a lot of these spots that he's definitely guessing correctly. His head's always in the right spot, and I'm definitely not like slighting him. But 4 or 5 years ago, he was following me on Twitter, and like on my first Twitter account 5 Twitters ago.
It was four score and 3 Twitter accounts. Yeah.
So he knew who I was, though. Like, I talked to him on there, and he was like, oh, yeah, I've actually seen your battles. I didn't know you were a poker player. And then I chopped it up with him at the World Series, like, during a tournament. Well, I was just, like, walking around on break, and he was in a different tournament. And he, like, saw me walking around, and he was like, what's up, son? I was like, nothing, man. What's going on with you? And he was just like, yeah, you know, just trying to stack chips like a boss, something, some
Yeah,
funny
yeah,
shit. I'm
yeah,
just
yeah.
like, word, right on. And then I found out through another high stakes pro, Scott Seaver, who plays like some of the biggest games in the world as well. There was like a hilarious instance of Talib Kweli on Twitter calling like a group of poker players Nazis or racists or whatever he was calling white
Whatever
people that
dumb
day.
shit. He's the worst to follow on Twitter.
I can't do it. I can't
Nobody
do it.
want to see it like a Talib Twitter rant.
So,
Shout out
so
Talib.
he's calling like this handful of poker players Nazis and this and that. So I lightly interject. I'm like, yo, man, like, I've known a handful of these people for like a decade or so, and these are definitely not like Nazis or racists or anything along those lines. And he's just like, whatever, Nazi lover. Like, goes off on me too, you know what I'm saying? So I'm like, all right, have a good one. But through that, this dude, Scott Seaver, he, I guess, saw the whole exchange Talib was having, and he goes, the funniest thing about this whole Talib poker community beef is that I just found out the Saurus is connected to poker, so now I'm like back watching KOTD battles. So I hit him up. I'm like, yo, that's crazy. I had no idea that you watch battles. And he goes, oh yeah, Ivy put me on to you and Disaster a few years ago. And yeah.
Ivy's
And then I'm
the
just like,
GOAT.
and then Prahlad Friedman, who's another like pretty well-known pro, who actually makes a bit of music too. He's a rapper. He lives out in LA. But he's definitely known as a poker player. He like messaged me somewhere else and he was like, oh yeah, Ivy might be like the biggest battle fan in
Phil
poker,
Ivey, that's
which is
so
insane.
sick.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
like
yeah.
an actual GOAT, you know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? And Prahlad was like, yeah, he might be one of the actual biggest like battle fans in poker.
That's sick.
But there's so many like heads that I've become homies with that are either like bracelet winners or WPT winners or just like monster pros who I've looked up to as a player for years, you know what I'm saying?
Didn't you do
I did a poker-themed battle at WSOP.
At the World Series.
During the main
of poker.
event, and Bruce Buffer hosted it. I'm the only battle rapper in the entire... Me and my boy Assassinato, the poker player I battled.
You hear that?
We are the only players in the world, or only battlers in the world, who were introduced for a battle by Bruce Buffer. It was the tightest shit ever.
That's crazy.
He was like, are you ready to rap? It was tight. But straight up, like, gave me the full...
ready to multi.
He was like straight up belted out my name, Pete the Saurus.
Did you give him? Did you dap him?
Boris. Afterwards, I like shook his hand and thanked
during,
him.
like when he
No,
introduced,
I should have. I should have.
Well, no. There's supposedly a or wait,
A curse?
It's his brother.
oh, he
Bruce
lose-
Buffer's the original.
Bruce
right?
Buffer's no. Michael Buffer.
Michael Buffer.
is the
Okay, so
original.
he does
Michael
UFC
is,
as well,
yeah,
right?
Bruce
Bruce.
Buffer does UFC.
There was like a curse.
Michael is Let's Get Ready to Rumble.
Yes.
Bruce
yes.
is UFC. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Bruce
Yeah.
works out of my gym.
Bruce plays
That's
poker
right.
as well. He's like he plays a ton of poker.
Yeah. There was like
That's
some
how we got
curse
him.
that-
He was playing the main event, and the filmer for like the camera guy for Bluff Magazine was like, "Oh, I should go ask him if he'll like do an intro for you guys while they're on dinner break because they get 90 minutes."
What?
So he went over and Buffer agreed to do it. And then the most baller part is after he does it, and we like thank him, and I was like, "Yo, man, that's like." Legitimate bucket list material for to be announced by you for anything." And he goes, "Oh, no problem at all." He goes, you seem like nice guys. Sometimes you got to throw out the 5-figure freebie every once in a while." I was like, "Okay, you're the biggest boss of all time. Now go enjoy your dinner, sir." You know
That's
what I'm
fire.
saying? Like, how much of a savage do you have to be?
That's so-
You seem like a nice guy. I just did something that was probably worth $50,000 for you.
That's so sick.
Thanks, Bruce.
Yeah.
Such a boss.
That is amazing.
Yeah, it was an
man.
entirely poker themed battle too. And there's like players that I've
Was it like
referenced in that
3 rounds?
3 rounds
Like,
of poker themed battle. Yeah,
acapella.
Yeah.
At the World Series.
Yeah.
That's
like
crazy.
it filmed in front of the like ESPN feature table, the mothership, the
Yeah,
ESPN
yeah.
final table. Yeah.
That's wild.
The dude who won the main event, not this most recently, but the year before, is like a battle fan too. Scott Blumstein.
So there's a lot of poker references within and
Oh
and
yeah, tons. And like, there's players who I referenced in the battle who I've like become cool with since then because they like either saw it or I asked them if they saw it and then they watched it. You know what I'm saying?
That's sick.
Yeah, it's
It's
dope.
online.
Yeah,
I haven't seen it. I'm
yeah.
gonna
The
watch
dude's
that.
name's the Assassinato. It's pretty dope. I had a couple lines that are like, for poker heads, they are insane. Absolutely insane.
That's crazy. That's a whole
I
different
had some fire
environment.
rounders bars. I had a couple of good.
Oh,
rounded,
really?
Yeah. Some Teddy KGB shit. Yeah, it was tight.
Leave your blood splat, kill you in the kitchen. Leave your blood splashing in the pot like.
No, I said
a
something about it. Now I'm rushing to the cage like Teddy KGB or something like that. Yeah, it was pretty tight.
That's crazy.
Yeah, because they call the cashiers called the cage, of course, where you get your chips. Yeah, I had some insane. There was this kid, JJ Prodigy, who was a player who got like banned from online when he was 17 or 18 because he was like multi-accounting. He was too young to play. So he was signing up. He signed up under an account that was like under his grandma or whatever, and then he like shipped. He had like a 100K score when the kid's fucking 17 under his grandma's account. So I had this line, and JJ Prodigy is also like good friends with the dude who I battled, and so I had this line. I was like, he's eager for an upswing. His play ain't profiting, so he thought he'd raise the stakes and get a payday off of me. But if he won today, that'd be a grade A robbery, just not on my account like JJ Prodigy. And yo, like it was all poker players watching it, and like you could feel it's like the illest poker line probably that's been put together. It was pretty ridiculous.
That's hella tight.
Yeah, it was clean. And I've played with the kid JJ Prodigy, Josh Fields, like since then. I've like one time I was like, yo man, you know you're like part of like maybe the best poker related rap line ever. He's like, yeah, I know. He was like kind of like meek about, you know. He was just like, yeah, I don't really like being like known for the multi-account thing or whatever. He's like, but you didn't like diss me, so you know.
He's like, so we don't gotta run the fade or nothing.
Yeah, exactly.
You should have had a line where it's like some bar this cat'll respond to.
Daniel
What
Negreanu.
ran
I
up
had
on
Daniel
you
Negreanu.
with my homie and let the kid poker like Daniel Negreanu.
I had something about how I could play any hand that I want to, like Daniel Negreanu, or something like
hand
my
that I want
reads are
to.
so strong, I can play any hand that I want to, like
Run up
Daniel
on him and his
Negreanu.
girl.
And then there was also the dude who I battled lost this like infamous hand on like the WPT or on the PokerStars Caribbean against a chick named Shawan Liu, which rhymes with Negreanu. So I said something about Daniel Negreanu, and then I was like something about how that was the wrong move, kind of like your PCA hand was Shawan Liu or something like that.
That's crazy.
Yeah, and then because the hand he basically spazzed off all into her with like 50 big blinds with King 10 offsuit, which is it was just a bad play, whatever it was. And okay, so shortly before the battle, there was a scandal at Borgata Casino in New Jersey where a player or a couple of players were in on a chip scandal where they made fake chips that like looked like tournament chips.
Yeah.
So there was a huge scandal over. They froze the tournament, ended up freezing it at like 20 players, and the money all got like chopped chip stack wise. They didn't play the tournament out because too much of it was compromised. But they caught the person who was making them, and he was they like found out what room he was staying in, and he was trying to flush the chips down his toilet in his room.
'Cause that'll work.
And they got stuck in there, so that's how he got caught. So I had a line about that. I had a line that ties into it all. I was like,
genius.
I'm like 50 blinds with King 10. That's a lot to I was like, that's a lot to mishandle. But you were a 3-2 underdog, so it's not a big gamble. Me, I'm Uncle Jesse. Full house got you dismantled, and you're stuck with a flush like Borgata's chip scandal.
Damn.
Stuck with a flush? What? Bro. Yeah, it was fire. Super fire.
You're like, yo, take him for the whole pot. Raise him out the gate and watch him fold. Shout out, don't flop.
I had some really tight shit. It was fire.
That's sick. Nah, that's hella tight. Fucking. That's another thing is like themed battles. Wasn't there another? Wasn't there like a Marvel themed battle or video game themed battle?
Didn't
Like
Feral and Daylight that were like Superman and Batman. Yeah. Oh yeah, that wasn't really a theme. They just
they just celebrated Halloween early.
That battle's super entertaining though.
I don't think I remember that one.
It actually is. Diz had his Halloween event. I remember that. That was
Oh,
the
yeah,
theme
yeah,
shit.
yeah. It was like Jesus and
versus the
Satan.
devil. That's like probably the best one from that event.
Eminem versus
Diz.
Eminem,
It was Eminem
versus
Disaster. Because
But
Diz was
Diz
Eminem.
was Eminem,
And the
and-
fan was Diz.
And who else was on that? Raphael versus Shredder.
Shredder and Danny,
Danny
was
Myers
in it, too.
versus
Yo, Copy was actually pretty tight as
Yeah,
Shredder
yeah,
too.
he was.
That had Caddy versus Daylight, the Malcolm X
Jenner
KKK.
versus Bruce Jenner.
Oh yeah, the Caitlyn versus Bruce. Yeah, I remember that too.
Oh yeah, with No Shame.
Yeah, and
That-
Roan.
Yeah. Yeah, that's pretty. It's pretty. It's like it runs the line of gimmicky, but like if done right, it's hella entertaining. You
And
know what
for
I
a
mean? Like,
Halloween
I think
event.
No, I think that's
I think it
perfect.
worked
Yeah, I
perfect.
just mean theme battles.
Yeah.
Like I think it could be super interesting, and it's like one of those things. It just depends on execution.
Yeah, oh, of course. And setting, of course. You know what I'm
Definitely.
saying? It's got to be like the right place. The right crowd has to be there.
Yeah.
It can't be a crowd who's like, "Where the bars, though?"
Right? Yeah. Run that shit back. That shit's fire. Man.
Yo, and Twerk versus Suge, I just watched that like the other night, and there was like a part where Twerk says
I run
something.
shit back.
Yeah, Twerk says something insane. The crowd like erupts, and
Nunu's
Nunu's like,
says, "You better run that back."
"You need to run that part back." He's like, "I ain't running shit back. They ain't get it. They ain't get it." And I was like, "Yo, I
love it.
just right there became a fan of you
Yeah.
for sure."
Twerk is nice.
He
man.
has like moments that are insane.
Yeah, have you seen him in chess?
He was really good that entire battle. He was
Yeah.
really good. That was a good 3-round performance. Chess was good for like the
Chess
second round, especially.
took the second decisively for sure. But yeah, that was a great performance.
There was still parts. There was
the chess. Chess.
there was one line that Chess
It's like
said.
a Halloween line or something.
There was one of them that had some line that was like such forced wordplay, and then he whoever it was, they like said it. No one reacted, of course, and so of course they shook their head themselves.
Oh, was it? It was Mortal.
I don't
More
remember.
Tools.
I don't remember.
Show up with more tools or something like that.
I don't remember what it was, but then one person in the crowd's like, "That was crazy." and I'm just
Yeah,
thinking to
I bet you
myself, like,
remember that.
just because a thing can sound like
Like
another
another-
thing
Yeah.
doesn't make it crazy. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
If it can play both ways, then yeah, go for it. But
Yeah,
this was, it was one that definitely didn't play more than
Work,
one
yeah.
way. And just one dude, "That was crazy." I'm like,
I was kicking it with Carter. I might even mention this before, but like he was hella. We were just talking about battle rap and shit in general, and he's making hella good points. He's like, from a literary standpoint and like writing, like battling's kind of the most advanced in the different literary tools that it uses, and
absolutely.
the whole format is like, further is a step further than fucking Shakespeare and
sure.
classic sort of,
'Cause we're
literature
incorporating
and
slang
poetry,
as-
colloquial, everything. The way it ties in is kind of like the most advanced form of, like literature and poetry, and kind of pushing the limits of how you can
Damn.
manipulate language and shit. It's
That's
pretty
super
crazy.
facts.
Yeah,
Especially when you
Homophones and all
think
this
about like what
palindrome,
what QP does. When you think about that, you're just like, holy shit! Like he sees language in a different way than the rest of us do. That's just how it is. I think Chilla, it's the same thing, because I feel like those two are like definitively the best at doing what they do and what so many others try to poorly copy. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? They do it in a way where it makes sense to them both ways, and they make it make sense. But you know what I'm saying? Like, QP is the fastest though. It's like he's a computer, bro. You can just say a sentence to him, and he's gonna break it down.
Yeah, it's
just
like he's already
sectionally.
dividing the
Yeah,
words
man.
up
He sees
visually.
it. It's like a graph or some shit. It's crazy the way his mind works, man.
Yeah.
And he's
Cocaine is
still
a
like,
hell of a drug.
and he's still doing it at a high level, which is crazy too. To be doing cocaine
All that
at a high
rebuttal shit
level
against
still.
Chill at a high level and at them rebuttals and shit against Chilla were crazy.
Oh,
He's
he
had
was
several.
That's like one of my
that
favorite
whole
performances of his. And I like the cage match he had with JC
Yeah,
on
yeah,
Guerrilla Warfare.
yeah.
That shit is super fire,
Yeah.
man. Even recently, he battled Young Cannon recently, and his performance is fucking amazing. He has a whole round where he fucking where he's just kneeling down talking to his Cannon's shoes because it's on some like what are those type shit, and then he closes it off by saying It has something to do with sneak dissing, but it's
Oh
bro,
my God.
bro, it's fucking.
I don't think I've seen that.
Yo, you should, Avo, you should slap that on a watch sometime. QP versus Young Cannon
Oh yeah.
came
me
out
too.
sort of recently too. It's a pretty
Yeah.
new battle, and yo, both of them cook in it too. QP is so entertaining.
Do it after this.
QP is so entertaining.
That's fine. Are there any questions before we wrap
Yeet.
this up?
I pretty much asked most of them.
Yeah.
There's one that I don't really get. I mean, you can answer it if you want, Pete.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know anything about poker.
Oh,
but,
okay, it's a poker question. Clearly.
Do you like the stuff around poker, like the stories in Alvarez, biggest game in town?
Alvarez, biggest game in town.
Alvarez? I don't know.
Maybe it's I don't know what he's talking about, but I think he's talking about just shit that surrounds like stories, and maybe he's referencing a movie or a book or something.
It's possible.
It's probably an author, but a wrestler, yeah. But one thing that I found hella interesting, I want to say maybe it's like on one of the DVDs, or maybe it's you talking about, but it's like prop betting, like at casinos and at big tournaments. And shit, I remember you telling me about like
side betting?
Ivy and like
Ivy betting
Greenstein,
thousands on the color of flops and shit. Whether a
Yeah.
flop's gonna be black or red dominant, or whether it's gonna be all of one, different prices based on if it's all of one color, or if it's more dominant towards red or black. Yeah.
So you can do that at the table, just bet on random shit with someone next
Ivy
to
just
you.
like sits with like a journal and he's just like marking down points.
That's crazy.
Those dudes are insane.
Weren't you telling me like
Gamers.
was that Greenstein and Ivy or some other fools prop betting on like on a break, like what raindrop on the window would reach the bottom? And it's thousands
just
of dollars.
racing,
Raising raindrops down a windowsill, and like betting thousands on it.
Yeah.
Fools-
Pick a drop and fuck it, yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Oh, anything.
Fools,
Yeah.
you can bet on anything.
Max level degeneracy. Just
The best time I had watching a football game is betting dollars on every single play. Like I can't remember at my mom's. There's
That's
someone we're drunk as
insane.
another better, and we're just on every like snap be like incomplete,
dollar on
dollar.
whatever.
Like all right, I'll take it.
That's
Or like
amazing.
interception, whatever. And
You
so
can
every
actually
snap, we're
there's
just
a betting
throwing
site where you
dollars
can do
down.
that now. It's an app, but it's live betting.
Really?
You can literally play by
Prop
play
bets
bet.
on whatever.
Yeah.
That's sick.
Play for play.
Yeah.
It's nuts. Because they always have those wild props for the Super Bowl. Like what play is going to be first call to the game? Who's going to score first? Is their jersey number going to be over under 44 or whatever the fuck?
Mm-hmm.
Like there's so many different prop bets that you can do. And now that sports betting's legal, the door for that is going to open so much more. Sports betting being legal now is fucking crazy. It's good. I mean, I guess.
I love gambling, man.
I don't mind it.
I love gambling. Like that on just doing that on like football, like just play by play, throwing dollars down.
savage.
Like you could do that with any sport.
Yeah,
And
that's
just like
insane.
throw random shit out.
I feel
It's
like
hella fun.
football's the best that you can do it because of like the time
the
between
pacing.
plays.
Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah.
It's hard to baseball. I guess you could do outcome per at bat for sure.
Yeah, just
Basketball is
That's like slow
impossible.
motion.
Basketball, hockey is like impossible though. It's too fast.
Yeah, well, you'd have to bet on like up to the next timeout, score spreads, or fucking obviously.
I mean,
win or
people bet
loss,
on
all that
quarters
shit.
and shit like that. You
Yeah.
can bet first quarter, first half, things like that.
Yeah, fouls.
Yeah.
Shit like
There's
that.
insane
Violate
things that
free
pe-
throws.
I put a couple of bets in before the NBA season started on just total team win totals because there's certain teams that I just feel like are like a lock to win more games or less games than they're projected.
Yeah.
The Raptors, for some reason, the Raptors were only like 51.5, which I think is a lock over because the East is so soft.
Yeah.
The Bulls are like 28.5 wins. I think the over on that is it's too easy to get there. I took the Spurs 44.5 wins because they haven't won fewer games than that in like fucking 15 years.
Right.
And I stayed away from the Warriors because it feels like a trap. It's like 65 or 67 or some bullshit, and you just
Yeah,
don't
that's
know.
tough,
You don't know if they're gonna play all their starters every single night. That's the
Yeah.
thing. Right now they're playing
Crazy.
otherworldly.
Yeah.
But Steph Curry especially, it's a freak of nature team. That team.
Yeah.
But the Celtics are gonna give them a run. For sure. Celtics will be the
You
second
got
best team
you
in
got the
league.
pennant, man.
Yeah.
Just be happy.
Getting greedy, bro. Gotta get greedy.
Yeah, Warrior. I mean, no one's seeing the legacy. You know what I mean?
What do you mean?
How the titles?
Oh,
the
yeah.
Celtics.
Oh, no.
Like, what is it?
They have 17 or 18 championships. Yeah. The most decorated.
Legacy. Who's closest? What the
Lakers
Lakers,
are one
right?
or two behind, yeah.
Yeah. And that rivalry.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And now it's hopefully going to be reawakened now that LeBron's back in L.A. I'm definitely going to come out here for the Celtics game in L.A. Like,
Ooh,
no question.
yeah.
Have to. You
Yeah.
know? Probably the Clippers game, too.
Yeah.
Might as well. I'm going to go to the Suns game for sure. Try to catch as many as I can. It's fucking worth it.
Well, why doesn't Vegas have a team?
We got the Raiders Stadium under construction right now.
I
That's
seen
gonna
that
be tight.
foreshadowed in Ballers.
I feel like
The,
oh yeah,
the-
with the Rock.
Yeah. That shit is fire.
It show's all right.
No, it's cool.
I
But
feel like
The Rock is fire.
The first
though.
season
He's
was
tight.
yeah. The Rock's the G. The first season was fire. I feel like
And his
I'm
little white sidekick.
right now. I feel like I'm plot committed. Yeah. Oh, he's tight. That dude's hella funny.
Plot committed. to the
Yeah, it's like
podcast.
yeah,
That's
exactly.
tight.
That's like when a show, you know, when
Yeah,
you've seen the
yeah.
first few
I
seasons,
finished it.
you know the show's falling off, but you're like, I gotta see how it ends. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? Like Dexter or some shit.
Yeah.
I was
Oh,
plot. I was
yeah.
plot
That was
committed
tough.
to that. Oh, it was the worst.
That was tough.
That was the worst
It
fall
fell
off.
off after
The-
what, second?
After
or
Trinity.
The first?
After the Trinity killer.
Right.
Whatever season
Yeah.
that was, third or fourth.
Yeah.
Because
Not
Trinity was
bad.
amazing.
Yeah.
And then yeah, it got terrible.
With old boy.
Deb lost her mind.
That was such weird season. What are you watching now?
And Better Call Saul's incredible.
Fuck, I'm hella behind on
You
this
need
season.
to catch up.
Yeah,
you need to
yeah.
watch because it's like
Just this season, I've watched
it's
like the first like
it's
2
so
episodes.
many
I think.
gems of like
It's just starting to tie back
exactly.
in.
Oh,
With
it's about to cross because Gus and like you get to
Yeah.
see
Mike,
Hector
all that.
before he was in a wheelchair.
Yeah.
Mike's like one of my favorite characters to begin
solid,
with.
yeah.
I actually just recently like started rewatching Breaking Bad too because it's just so fucking good. Bro.
Yeah. I've watched it a couple times
It's
all the way
incredible.
through.
It is so good. The new season of The Deuce is lit.
Yeah, I finished that.
Yo, the show that follows it that just started, there's only a few episodes, it's called Camping. It's a comedy.
I just started that.
It's
I'm up to date on that.
fucking hilarious.
It is hilarious.
It's hella funny.
With
the dude with the beard is who like used to write for Conan and shit.
Mm-hmm.
The white dude with the beard with the like piano teeth, basically.
Yeah, what's her
Juliette
name?
Lewis is in it.
Yeah, she's
Jennifer
she's
Gardner somehow.
hilarious.
Yeah.
Jennifer.
Yo, Juliette Lewis is hella funny in
funny,
it.
yeah.
The whole cast dynamic though is great.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty funny so far. Anything I trust most HBO programming for sure.
Yeah, they're solid as fuck.
They pretty consistently kill it.
They're solid as fuck.
I think something just like ended on there. It must have.
Yeah, the Deuce just ended.
Yeah.
I thought I love that series was really
Yeah, it's
tight.
dope as fuck.
What else did I watch on there was another series I feel like I just finished that was super flames.
Did you fuck with Fargo?
I never got into
Me
Fargo,
too.
really.
It's amazing.
Fuck, I've heard that a
It's
lot
Coen
too.
Brothers. It's amazing. Yeah.
Damn.
It's so good. And each season is completely separate from the other. Like each season tells one individual story. They're not like interlinked.
That's tight.
Yeah.
No, I've heard that a lot since it came out,
It's
and I just
fucking
haven't
amazing.
pulled the trigger.
It's so good, bro.
Well, shit.
Yeah.
Appreciate you coming on,
You
man.
already know, my
Hell
guy.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, see,
Make
fuck
sure
around and get a
y'all,
watch popping off. I got you. I'm not gonna leave you
boom.
hanging.
Follow twitch.tv/the Saurus wins. I'm trying to get the channel as popular
How
as
often
possible.
do you stream?
3-4 days a week on average, sometimes more. I'll be streaming probably tomorrow and Saturday. Sunday night maybe, but Sunday is like a chaotic day as far as tournaments and football, and I have like multiple fantasy leagues, daily fantasy sports with like DraftKings and shit, and fucking usually some football bets too.
Yeah.
NFL Sundays are always an active day for me.
Right.
They're always like a potential year saver
Yeah.
or year maker. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Well, shit. Sports.
True.
Thanks, man. Appreciate
It's good.
you. Brett. Shout out my
Holy
riders.
Father, grow sunflowers in total darkness. Got a dungeon, it's underground for tortured artists. All my demons get along. They tell me trust your instincts, even when they're wrong. Treachery amongst friends, you could read it in your palm, cutting off your right hand like a thief in the Quran. Yeah. Juggling Hennessy and hand grenades. Balancing enemies with family strains. Learning everybody can't be saved. At times you gotta amputate, cut them off. Ignore the phantom pains, fuck them off. She say she love me, but I don't know. She got a nose like a snowblow. Cops cane, that's my dog. Hennessy and hand grenades. Gunpowder and holy water. Hennessy and hand grenades. Gunpowder and holy water. Hard call to be this way until my outro. Fuck around and turn LA into the South Pole. Praying on my downfall, hating on the down low. Take my